Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hey guys.
I'm here with American Discourse News, and I'm Rogue Dissident Danny. If you don't know me, welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, but the biggest things we're going to talk about are the endless lies that Erika Kirk has so graciously provided us with.
Allegedly.
Yes, the alleged lies.
Yes.
But we've been wanting to have a video where we just cover them in like a timeline format because I think we've said before that I feel like information comes out, weeks go by, new information comes out, and because of that like gap between information getting released, I think a lot of people forget about just the vast amount. Like it's how people say little white lies, they add up over time, and that's why people end up having issues trusting people because of a little lie here. It might seem innocent, and I think that's what we've seen a lot of, especially when it comes to people who want to defend everything she's saying and doing. The problem is that you're forgetting about all the other little ones, and it's just one after the other, and we really wanted to put it into a concise format so that people can reference it when you're maybe questioning if how you're feeling is okay.
Right. And like I always think of it as like death by 1,000 paper cuts when we think of all these lies. It's like, okay, at first you're like, well, maybe she's just forgetful. And then we're getting into it and you're like, okay, but texting with a 15-year-old is different
Yeah.
than you forgetting your husband and yours wedding date. Like people want to
Yeah.
really nitpick her. And yes, when you see it a million times, but then but there's also extremes. And we know everyone on Twitter has been either defending her or not. I guess we
Yeah.
could also talk about some of that too. I just thought about it because there's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's going to be pretty loosely based.
yeah,
We have other things to talk about too. We don't really have a time limit, so we'll just see where the wind takes us. But yeah, we just thought we haven't done a lot of streaming, especially on the weekend. We thought, why not? And it was kind of a last minute thing, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. There's
me
a lot
too.
going on, obviously.
There is. And I found this really fun video I thought we could look at first to like set the tone. It's related and it's not, but I want everyone to see this. So give me a second. I'm going to pull it up because I
Is this
just
as
found this.
glorious as watching Ben Shapiro share the trailer to Bride of Charlie? Because I
It's
swear to God, I'm like, sir, this is a bad choice on your part.
yeah, it's not that good. But it to me it encompasses how people feel about her. So I just and this guy's like younger
Is that
too,
Michael
so
Cera?
it looks like
Doesn't he look like it?
yes,
I was like, "Oh, dang, he's reversed aging."
it's giving Michael Cera the way he talks, and it says
Oh,
on the
super
top,
bad.
if I was Erica for a day, first I would call my kids since I haven't seen them for 6 months. So we can tell the tone here is gonna be
Yes.
silly.
So good.
Okay, I'm gonna run it just to pop off the vibes.
First, I'd call my kids because I haven't talked to them.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind it then. Okay, let's go.
If I was Erika Kirk for a day, first I'd call my kids because I haven't talked to them in 6 months because I've been on a press tour. Then I would drop the link, see how that goes, black out my Instagram and start teasing my new album. The album goes #1, I collab with Somber and Nicki Minaj, and I sweep the Grammys. I then headline the Super Bowl where I perform my entire new album, and I also perform I Did Something Bad by Taylor Swift. Then have a threesome with Benson Boone and Ben Shapiro, and I leak the tape because I can. Then I move to Israel, start my own religion, and then live off life there. And then I go to bed and do it all again the next day. If I was Erika Kirk for a day, I'd call.
Oh, he's like my favorite person now.
I thought that was just such a tee off to how people think
So
about
good.
her. I was like,
So good.
I love her. Did we want to go over the Candace video where she's talking about the coming soon, like the trailer to kick this off, or do we want to just get in the timeline?
Sure. Yeah, why
Okay.
not? Do you wanna see if it'll work on your end?
I'm gonna try it again.
Let's
Something
try it.
about the share screen button just isn't working when
Because
it's
otherwise,
mine.
all the things you have, I'm gonna have to have.
Yes, I'll just send it to you because
Okay.
anyway, I'm just gonna do that.
Because that's fun.
This is super fun since I'm the one actually hosting in my stream. It's like, no, we'll break for
Actually,
you.
speaking of, I may pull up on my phone just to make sure I can see that it's live on mine too. You know what I mean? Because this is the first time we're doing it, just for everybody's aware. We're doing something we haven't done where we're both actively trying to stream from both of our channels. So I'm trying to make sure that that's actually happening.
Yes, Ramen.
And
It's or no, it's not actually Michael Cera, but that's what we were saying.
Does it not look like him? I really said it looks
It's like a
Michael
baby
Cera.
one.
Yeah, it's like him, like, when he first started,
Yes.
because it's not like he definitely does not look like that now, but he definitely
No.
is reminiscent, at least from that angle, of Superbad Michael Cera.
Yeah, do you remember
Yep, it
him
shows it on
in
mine too.
that show? What show was that? Oh,
Which one? There was a few all at that time.
it was the show he was in, and it was about the pineapple stands.
Oh, that was amazing, yeah,
Yes.
now I'm not even gonna be able to say it think of it right.
I know,
And then
why am I blanking?
he was George Michael. The banana stand.
Yes,
I
the
freaking
banana.
love that show
Oh,
so
yes,
much.
okay. I'm like, it's all I watched it so long ago. Wasn't that like lore 20 in the early 2000s?
So good, and it ended, but then they came back for, like, an extra season. One of
Yeah.
my favorite parts of that was the he wasn't an exchange student, right? Did they, like, adopt him? The Asian kid? And then, like, he just kept saying, "Annyeong," and they're like, "Oh, that's his name," so they just called him Annyeong, but that was, like, hello in his language.
They
So he
kept
just,
calling him
like he's like,
Annyeong.
"Why do they just keep saying that?" You know, like
Yes, he was lost and
'cause
confused.
the mother was such a nightmare.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
such a
was. She was
fantastic
bad.
show. One of my favorites.
Such
And
a
now I
good
can't
show.
think of the name simply 'cause you asked for it.
Of
Arrested
course.
Development.
Arrested Development, thank you.
It's about time
Such a good
something
show.
goes right. Alright, pulling this up now. I just
Pulling
will have
it,
to
and so now
open
we're gonna
it
go
in
over
my oops.
the epic Candace video to set the stage for the rest of this, to give us a refresher.
Are you hearing this right now?
No, but you can't see
Okay,
it either.
good.
You've
I
gotta pull
know.
into
But it won't pause.
I know, they just start
What is
going.
going on? Hold up.
They're spamming our our
I feel like I'm
devices.
taking crazy pills right now. Like, I might be taking
I literally will click the share screen button and just nothing happens. Just goes to 0.
Okay. Good lord, folks. Okay. It should be good, but I have to present a new one. This is glorious, though. I wanna just say this is just the trailer, right?
Yes, it's just the trailer.
Okay. I wanna say, 'cause I was watching, Valhalla last
Mhm.
night, I think, and I had told you this, but I'm letting people know that this was the funniest part of his stream last night because he showed Ben Shapiro on his own show talking about endlessly how evil we all saw the email, right? Like,
Yes.
the talking points on how terrible and demonic and la, la, la Candace is. Well,
Mhm.
he's spouting off all of the verbatim things they were supposed to say, obviously, which probably he's the one who sent the email, so I'm sure he knows it really well. But he's saying all this, and then he's like, "So I just have to show you guys this trailer." And keep that in mind, okay? As you're watching this, Ben Shapiro chose to show this trailer on his
To his
platform
audience.
in a way to really make Candace look bad, because that's what this is gonna do. It's gonna really make Candace look cuckoo pants, and not that he's defending, potentially a bit of a crazy person.
A
So,
crazy person.
just a little bit of a crazy person. Alright. Okay, can you see it?
No.
Okay, you have to
Now I
present.
can.
There we go, okay. Let's start it from the very beginning.
President Trump says that Kirk has died after he was shot from a nearby building after being shot at Utah Valley University. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead.
The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
I didn't even get to give him a kiss goodbye.
That young man, I forgive him.
Take your time.
Erika Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
It's weird to say excited. Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century. Merch, hats.
We have 50,000 plus hat orders.
Nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
Zionists, the Prime Minister of Israel, all lied through their teeth about Charlie Kirk.
Her operation was in Constanta. the epicenter of Romania's trafficking scandal.
We heard conversations to have with a 15-year-old. I'm going to touch your butt.
$8.6 million to their own shell company. What is going on?
We have nothing to hide. My aunt used to tell me, never do something that you don't want on the front page of a newspaper.
I loved that trailer so much. I felt like we just needed to see it again.
And I just love it even more knowing that Ben Shapiro showed that to all of his audience that are the people that we're trying to reach. Thank you for that.
Right.
Thank you for summarizing all of the beautiful concerns we have in one little clip.
I thought it was cool too that she actually put Wolves in Finance in there because I hadn't heard her necessarily mention him that much, but he did such good work for it.
Yes, I love him. I love all the people that she showed. I love Dave. I love Tim. Tim's one of my favorites.
It's so true. Okay, so I feel like we should get into the timeline now.
Yeah,
So
let's
let's
do it.
remember Charlie Kirk, September 10th. There was media footage everywhere. It was obviously publicly recorded. Everyone saw it. And so if we're thinking about Erika kind of after the time, this is when I think some people were starting to get the ick from her, but didn't necessarily think that much of it. So here's a couple quotes that she had said around that time, and we can just talk about it. I didn't get to give him a kiss goodbye. And people have kind of sat on that and is like, well, why? You knew he was going. So that's one of the weird ones.
When he left for his trip to go on said trip. So, after he slept in his daughter's bed and you knew he was home and he was going to be getting up for this thing that it was so important, you were like sleep. You're like, I'm going to sleep in the morning. Don't wake me up. Like, why didn't you say goodbye?
Well, it's weird because you'd imagine he still had to get ready in his own room. And people kind of forget that, like, okay, you can sleep in another bed, but where is his clothes? Where is his toothbrush? Where is his suitcase?
I assume maybe what she's meaning is like she didn't get a chance to say a last, like, final, you're never coming back goodbye. But it was just, it's a weird thing to, it sounds as if you're saying you didn't get a chance to say goodbye when he left.
Yes.
Like, that's what it sounds like.
It does sound like that. And then we all remember the infamous, that young man, I forgive him.
I always, every time I hear that, I hear like like the in like the sitcoms when they have like the laugh tracks, I hear like the like audience like
and everyone was like really moved by that at the time, but other people who were thinking, well, the investigation is barely even started.
And this is what's driven me crazy for like a while now is the fact that, and she just did it again recently too, in that video we were talking about where people were saying she came off as drunk or whatever, which in the video you had, I didn't see that. I think a lot of that was the audio that was not working in like the one we were originally watching. So I'm going to leave it at that. But I think what's bothered me so much is from the start, they've all been talking about this. Like, we already know he's the guy. Like, no, nobody witnessed him do it. Like, stop acting like he stood up and held a gun up in front of the audience and shot while everybody watched him do it. That didn't happen. And then to act like they knew they had the guy when they're sending out these pictures of someone who was absolutely not him. Sorry.
Right.
Like, the dude in the original pictures was not him. Okay. Not him. There was nothing similar in the face. And then they're like, well, we AI edited it. Well, then that doesn't help, does it?
No.
But then they're all, we got the guy. How? How do we know that? Of course, everyone's going to say the gun, but now we all know about the gun. But
right. Exactly. So it was one of those things that everyone was like,
keep going because I'm fired up.
Yes. And so it's not necessarly a lie. It's just we're setting the stage for kind of how she's coming off to the public.
Constant like misguidance, constant like information that's not factual. It's not factual yet.
And a few other things that kind of came out later, but now we have to put them in the front of the timeline is when she said, my husband's dead in that video call.
That That's the one that continuously it sounds like she's saying it like she's pissed off. Here's the thing, in that moment when she says that in that video, she is saying to them, if you guys have beef within the office, like we all have worked with other people, if you got someone you don't like and there's a constant thing, she's saying put it aside. And in that moment she goes, my husband's dead, as if she's saying, you guys are annoying me for talking about how you don't like this person when I'm over here dealing with this. Worry about what I'm dealing with this. This is my issue. Don't you see me? See me? Look at me. That's what I feel like.
Well, and I felt like it was a little too soon to maybe say like something morbid, because I've had a friend who she's lost quite a few family members. So in turn, I've kind of lost some of her family members. And at this point, we kind of say things pretty morbid. You could catch us on a call saying something, but not like that still. Like we would say like, well, since everyone gets cancer, like we'd say that about, because then someone else in her family just got cancer. Like, but we've been through it 2 times now. And then we're making a joke like, well, that would just happen to us. But it's not on a public call. It's not a few days after this happens. It's obviously years worth of grief and crying and, real emotion to be able to get to the hump of let's actually make kind of a joke, lighten the thing. It was not very long after. And then when she talked about the memorial service as the event of the century, why would we
weird
say
way
that?
to say that. Weird. Yes. Just very bizarre.
And
then I love how they showed the pictures of everyone with the fancy hats, like they were going to the fucking Kentucky Derby or some shit. Like I felt like it was like a royal wedding. Like, what are we doing?
And it was more like a pep rally. And from my understanding, that's what some people were told to act like. They were actually not. They were told to act like, look at what we did. They weren't supposed to act like the speakers that they were mourning. It was supposed to come across that way. So that's odd. Who would as a PR person, why wouldn't you just want people to be more authentic? That to me was a little bit of a red flag.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. And then so another thing that just may have been, I'll say yellow flag, is people have brought up when Erika was named the new CEO of Turning Point so shortly after he was unalived. I think a lot of people have been like, well, wouldn't you need at least a month or 2, some time to process?
Just weird. Yeah, like Candace had said, why not just have someone as an interim? If you know you want to do it down the road, just like give yourself some space though. Like and be with your kids. Like I know everyone wants to be like, she can be with her kids. I get it. I understand. Yes, her kids could technically be with her on tour, but they're getting to the point of needing to be in school, preschool, kindergarten. Like they're getting, the older ones going to need to be in, kindergarten soon. So like you can't just be traveling around unless you're doing homeschooling on top of being a CEO. I don't think that's happening. Like we know how hard that is, right?
Yeah, it is hard. So, and like obviously if you do feel called to take on whatever is going on with your husband's company, that is up to your discretion. But at the same time, it was the timing of things. Obviously, I think that was kind of a yellow flag for everyone. So it's just kind of a suspicious speed, I think people would say. So that's another one. And then another thing that people have really brought up was when she brought up the merchandising and the funding and kind of saying like 50,000 hat orders in that call.
Yeah.
And
you can hear her smiling behind it, like almost like excited. Like it's a very weird, it just rubs me the wrong way. Cause I was actually thinking that while we were watching that, when she's saying that in that moment, it sounds like she's like giddy excited. It's like, I can understand being excited for the fact that people are supporting what you believe to be this great cause. But I feel like in that moment, it would be more of like an appreciative, not like a excited. You know what I mean? Like there is a difference. There's a difference between how she sounded.
Yeah, she could have been like, I couldn't I can't even explain how deeply moved that I was that we got so many people at this event to support Charlie. I know everyone's going to miss him that, watch his stuff. We ended up having like 50,000 hats we're going to end up having to, sell out to everyone or give to them.
Like I'm so thankful people are supporting us, and it's a little crazy right now, but we're gonna get through it. It. But to be like, you guys, we got 50,000 hat ordered. It's like gross sounding. The inflection behind it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. So I think that was something that like really kind of got people.
Who is this person in the chat? Do we need to? Yeah, I was gonna say, can we do something about them because they're gonna just keep going.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's like I'm fine
And
if
I
you
couldn't do
comment
it on my
after.
end, but like
Yeah,
just keep going. It's like cut the crap.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I'm like,
You can
I'm
have
not
your
here to
opinion.
do
I don't
that.
care. I'm not saying whether or not what he's saying is true. I haven't looked into it. I'm not gonna say yes or no.
Yes.
But like, chill out, dude. Okay.
We need a mod. Sorry, guys, we need a mod.
Calm your butthole.
Yeah, someone was going off in the chat. And that's not what we're talking about right now. If he wants to hop into any of my Epstein streams, have fun. We're talking about something completely else. Okay.
Well, and
let's
give
get back
people a
to it.
moment. Okay. My
Yeah,
God.
I was like, I'm blocking that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't ever do that. Okay. So
No, I don't either. I actually really don't like to do that. But I've said in the past, and I have very, small subscriber base, but I've said before, I'm okay. If people want to disagree, I'm not going to be angry about it. But if you're going to spam it to the point where people can't chat, go away. Like, that's the only, like, this is for everyone, not just you.
yes. And we had
Besides, there's
Rick in the
been weird
comments
stuff going on.
He was
with-
saying Charlie's steel neck. I loved that comment. He was like, "Oh, did you miss it, Jeannie?" Yeah, someone was going off like talking about.
There's so many chats from him talking about basically Candace is evil and demonic, basically.
Yeah, and we're not here. I don't even know her personally. I have no skin in that game, so I don't know these people,
guys. I don't know.
We don't know. We're just going with what we have. Oh, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you. And also, guys, I'm assuming most of you are probably going to be here from American Discourse News page because she has a larger subscriber base. So if you like me, subscribe to my channel. But if you are here from mine, make sure you subscribe to hers as well.
Yes, please do. And we'll tag each other at the end as co-collaborators on each other's streams so you can find us easier. So you don't have to do that right now.
And
Don't rush off.
if you guys are liking this general freestyle sort of thing where we don't have anything truly planned. We talked for like 2 hours earlier on the phone and we were like, we really should have just been like doing this live because we just were going and going and we just said, why don't we do it and just see how it goes? And if it goes well, maybe we'll do it like on a weekly basis. So
yeah, because we think it's easy. Like I like to do my deep dives and I do my research stuff, but it's more fun when you can come together and talk to someone and have some back and forth and have more of like
especially when you are getting started because there's like a weird when you're doing it alone and you're trying to pull up, like when we were just pulling up all this stuff and having these issues, it's like you're sitting there doing it alone, kind of panicking and nobody's talking and it's like people are gonna leave. So
yeah,
it's nice having someone else to fill in the gaps of the problems in between.
It is. Yeah, Rogue does have X. And I've tagged her on a couple things.
I do have X, yes.
So it's Rogue Dissident on X. So
yes,
follow her there.
I literally never used X until just recently, so I have like 13 followers on there.
No, literally, I have 75.
We were so stoked though, you guys, because the other day, Ian Carroll's web X page shared a chunk of our video that we did going over how to use the web program that he created. We were so excited. We were like fangirling in the background, like, look at it, shared our page.
Yes, it was Kevin, I think, over there. I think probably. I don't know, but they're super cool. Another thing that was really fun about X is though, if you know people on X, like I had Stu Peters follow me after I had like 12 people follow me. And I was like, how did Stu find me? That was crazy. So X is super fun because like if you're commenting on what other people do, you get big creators who will just follow you because they're in like the same space. So it's fun. Yeah. Please follow us there. Lots of fun over there. Okay. Let's get back to. I'm going to do a couple of claims that might. Can you hear the dog?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, perfect.
And if I can, I don't care. I love dogs. So
he is annoying. He has a pip, like
yes, mine was too.
Like a pipsqueak sound. Anyway, another thing I think we should talk about some of the kind of the other. I know we're talking about lies, untruths, whatever. So one of them was that. She basically said Charlie didn't send out those texts. She didn't. He didn't send out the I'm scared for my life texts. Basically,
yeah.
And
this is a great example, actually, for a few reasons. But go ahead.
And that's been obviously debunked.
Well, so she said he didn't send it. Was that on Glenn Beck? I think she had said
that was on Glenn Beck.
Those texts. So then Candace went and met with her and said that she had
conceded.
Yeah, and said, "Oh, I didn't realize it was on a different app." And then it turned out it wasn't even on the other app. So originally she said it didn't happen. Then she said, "Oh, it was on a different app that I didn't look at." And then it turned out it was like, "No, it wasn't on that app. It was on something else." And so it was like 3 lies in one. It's like a combo deal.
It was. It was one of those things where it was like it kept going. And actually, I'm going to go back to one other text too, because I don't know that I actually added this on the list. But then the text where she said she texted Charlie that night to come for dinner and then never corroborated it. Like she sent like a crappy screenshot with her finger on it.
This is what has happened. Oh, no, this one was different. The finger on it was the kids one. The picture of the kids.
Yes, that's why I was moving into that. I was just saying, like the second text.
The one about dinner, the contact was blacked out.
Yes.
And Candace is like, "Well, how can I verify?" So essentially, this was like after the Mitch Snow thing happened, and he had claimed that he saw her at the hotel on the 8th. They said, "Can you just verify what you were doing that night?" And Candace even said, "I'd be totally fine if your text was like, yeah, we're doing this, and it's like obviously that means you're at home or whatever. We all know sometimes you're texting from other rooms, whatever." And so they had sent this text to Candace that said, essentially it was like supposedly Charlie saying, "I just pulled in the driveway or the garage and is dinner ready?" And she said, "Yeah, I just put it on the table." Right. But they blacked out the contact information at the top. And Candace is like, "Well, this could literally be from anyone's phone. Like,
right.
It could be from me and my husband for all I know. Like, I can't, like, I have, in order to say, yeah, for sure, I need to see that it's his contact information. Can you unblack it?" And their excuse was that it was like her pet name for Charlie. So fucking change it.
Change it.
Well,
I was going to say, what woman doesn't know how to do all these things with the phone? Jeannie put it in the text. It was like we know how to go through these phones. Yes. We know how to do that.
Yes. And I feel like they do this so that people be like, she just misunderstood. No, she didn't. No. She is a millennial. She understands how these things work. She's not stupid. Okay. Yeah. And to act as if she didn't, you think that woman hasn't taken 1,001 screenshots or video recordings on her phone? And so Candace just said, "That's fine. If you want to just like black it, like, take it off or change it and then send it to me. And like, I have his number, so I know it. I don't have to show it to anybody. I just want to make sure I can confirm." And they're like, "It's Sunday and we're really busy to take a screenshot. What are we doing?"
Recording. Not
so
hard.
Then multiple days go by and they send, what do they send? A screenshot from a phone that shows that Charlie Kirk's contact information is in the phone. What? That has nothing to do with, that makes no connection to the text. So you're literally just like gaslighting little bits of like dragging it along so that people forget about it, because that's what happens, because then people it loses traction and people forget about it.
Stop it. Rick said her pet name for Charlie was Mark. That's funny.
I thought it was going to be JD.
Okay, yes. I didn't even put that in there, but can we just talk about the hug once? Like, we need to get back to the hug. I am not a touchy-feely person, so I can't really relate to this.
I'm
but
not really either.
I have never, I don't even think I've really touched someone I've been in a relationship on their head like that, like in public.
Yeah.
That's not a public act that you just go like...
Even if you did it with friends, that if you are that person and you did it with friends, you're still, the awareness is, I'm on stage with the vice president whose wife is here or whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that because people might think it's weird. Like, there's a certain level of awareness most of us have that in certain scenarios, you do things differently. In an interview, I'm not going to do something I would do when I'm meeting friends for drinks. Okay. There's just a difference.
Whose head am I? I'm just not grabbing. I'm just not grabbing the back of someone's head.
I'll admit, I've seen her do it in other pictures. So she's definitely, that is like a thing she does. I saw her do it to like a woman in another picture or something, or a video where she's hugging them and she does that. But
yeah, wearing leather breeches is a little, it's a little much.
It's just, again, it comes down to, you wouldn't go to a job interview in leather pants. What are we doing? You're on stage talking about something important. Like, there's just an awareness that most of us have that is not, that's not what you would wear in that situation. So I don't,
She just comes across inappropriate. That's what other people, they pick up on her inappropriate vibes. And I talked to Rogue about this off camera, but on camera, there are people that have been put through situations that most people wouldn't. Any kind of abuse situation that you would be in if you were younger, that may kind of make you not as sensitive to the world. Things that seem normal to you wouldn't be normal to other people. And so a hug like that to her may have been more normal if she went through anything traumatic. And people that have maybe a traumatic background, and it's just me being real here, they may act a little bit more different than you or I would if you didn't, especially if it happened if you were younger. We know that happens to people who may have been in hurt as a child in some way or another. They just don't always act the same. And I think sometimes she exhibits some characteristics of not quite being with the reality and the societal norms that we are.
Something at a point in her life early on altered her perception of things. We were talking about this earlier. And I was saying as well, I feel like as you get older and you start to like be more aware of the world and how just things work, you recognize that someone could experience something that like myself, I might be like, I mean, like, whatever, that's like small potatoes, but that person, it's very traumatic for them. And while I might feel that way, and maybe years ago, I would have been like, that's ridiculous. At this point in my life, I'm wise enough to go, I recognize that for them, this is still real. And so we can't look at someone's life and the things they've gone through and be able to brush anything off and say like there's no reason for that to have impacted them that way, because everyone is different. Everyone started out from the moment you leave the womb, you are impacted in one way or another. The moment you leave the womb, something happens. You cry, and if you don't get help or you do get help, you're going down a certain path. Every action that happens in your life changes you in a certain way, and we all go through different things. So we all experience things very differently, and you can't judge someone for how they react to things. You have to be able to understand that everyone reacts to things differently. But that being said, there's still a window of normalcy for most people. So when you see someone who acts oddly in multiple different ways, I tend to think it goes back to, especially if you don't watch Chase Hughes, you 100% should. He's like one of my favorite. I don't even want to call him a creator. I think he's an amazing person who's making content. But he talks a lot about how our brains function, and say like as an adult, if we are going through a situation that we have a lot of anxiety around, or something that like regularly brings up feelings of lack, or whatever it is, where this is all stemming from something that probably happened prior to the age of 8. Like at that point, our brain is kind of creating this safety protocol. And so whatever you were doing at 6 or 8 years old to make sure you felt safe and cared for, those are still the same things that you carry on the rest of your life. So those years are so impactful on just how you work yourself through the world the rest of your life. And you can change that, but it takes a very certain kind of awareness of how your brain works and how to I guess compete with that like mammalian brain that doesn't even understand English words or language of any kind. You have to be able to understand how to manipulate that, and that's not an easy thing to do. And I mean, it is when you're younger, and if you've been manipulated at a young age, think about like an MK Ultra type thing. If you've been manipulated at a young enough age, that's something that's very, very ingrained, and that can be ingrained as an adult if you do it right. But when you're doing it to a young kid, forget about it. Like,
and that's another reason
that
why
wouldn't even know that this happened to them, because they wouldn't even be aware.
And that's why her behavior could be kind of odd, and she may have had some very background story that a lot of
they 100% let me down on the behavior panel on Erika. I see your comment. Absolutely. And I had commented, I was calling out Scott. I was so pissed at Scott in that, because I'm like, guys, come on. They're supposed to sorry to cut you off. If you didn't watch it, they were reviewing and analyzing Erika, and they are very, very good about regularly making it very clear that when they analyze people, they're analyzing their physical behaviors, not the situation. They're like, we're non-biased, like we're analyzing like what they're doing in this, and what their normal behavior is and how they're acting in this situation. But in that situation, he kept bringing up like Candace and the information being spouted. And I'm like, this is not behavior analytics. You're talking about it as if you know the answer to the problem, and we all don't. We're not talking about that. We're talking about how she's, lied and her behavior, and you're bringing it up as if like, it was just not what he was doing. He wasn't talking about her body language. He was talking about the situation. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And I was getting pissed about it. Chase was the only one. He was the only one who was staying somewhat neutral. I mean, he was neutral. He wasn't really buckling. He was kind of counteracting them, but I was pissed. I was like, "You guys are losing me."
Well, yeah, and I think we remember that tweet that just went out recently with Victoria Lane, and she's talking about the psychopath behavior. You and I have talked about that. So I think that's what this all wrapping into
I
is
could show that
who's
clip.
she? Yeah, pull that up.
Yeah.
And I think that can kind of go into some of the stuff that we're talking about, like why is she lying all the time, or little lies, or white lies, or won't finish it? Why does it seem like she doesn't remember things? That can be either dissociation, psychopath. I'm not an expert in this stuff, but I'm a common sense person. And when I see somebody who's constantly doing these patterns that we're talking about, and there's so many more, we're going to talk about so many more. It's one of those things where you have to ask, what happened to you? Like, what happened to you? And while Candace is asking all these questions about her background, you can't rule out that she comes from an intelligence family. It's obvious her mom has multiple different names. So when you think about the background of where this stuff is coming from, she may have lived 20 different lives. I've already seen 9 at least with everything we've seen up to now. So
for sure.
I think that's some things that people aren't talking enough about is like, could her background be some military
I agree.
operation?
We were talking about this a lot today, and I was like, I don't feel like anybody has really approached it on this. Like, I know it's been like maybe spattered throughout some conversations, but I genuinely feel like given her parents' history and everything, I feel like Candace touched on it with Kamala. In the sense that like it felt like maybe Kamala was like a test subject from her mother. And I feel like it's very similar vibes. Almost like a more successful one, because I feel like Kamala was like a copy of a copy of a copy, but she's a little older. And I feel like maybe this is like a better perfected version of it.
I think this is why Barron was questioning if her mom, and this was on Twitter, I don't know that he said it on a stream, if her mom was her mom, because there's a photo of her Aunt Carla that looks more like Erika. And so that's what happens in these intelligence families. They'll pass you along to a cousin, an aunt, a blah, 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 to first of all confuse you, because you're like, well, why does that lady look like me?
And do it early enough.
Yeah, she's closer to my parents' age. We have more similar things to debase their reality. So then they can have them disassociate and then become whatever they want to create them to be. So
cause
I
enough
think that's
confusion
in
a child. I mean, dude, look at us as people with everything going on and how confused we are. We all sit here and we all can see these things right in front of our face, right? We can see these behaviors and the lies and the things, and it still makes you second guess. You still second guess yourself, even though it's right there. And that's us as adults, for the most part, probably having decent head on our shoulders and a normal upbringing. So imagine if your upbringing was so chaotic and so disorienting, and then trying to go through life like that. And like, that's why sometimes I think she genuinely does look confused.
I don't think she remembers where she's at. And this is not sympathizing for her, in my opinion. Like, this is not me doing that.
Doesn't make
I'm going to
it
be honest.
okay.
She should still own her shit and step away from. I said in my other video, a lot of people resonate with this. Just leave the public stage. We're kind of done with you. You're obviously up to an op in some way or shape or form, most likely military background. Let's, that's what I would really like her to do. But if she's not going to, then she's going to get the public scrutiny. But we are going to, if you think about it, you need to think about where did she come from? And I think Candace is going to find more information about this stuff. People have thought, I don't even know if her dad is her dad. Why is her background so confusing? Well, that's what they do. They take these children, they remove them from their actual parents, then they raise them, they take them to facilities to test on them. It's really wild, and I wouldn't even be surprised, quite frankly.
No, but yeah, so this clip, I had actually wanted to reference that it's Elizabeth Lane, right? That article, because she wrote it so well, and she's talking about just essentially how she believes that Erika Kirk is a psychopath. And I immediately thought of this clip from Chase on the PBD podcast, where it's just like a reel, but he's explaining essentially the way a psychopath's mind works. And I think when you think about it and listen to it in the same way that we see Erika Kirk. There are parallels in that sort of weird, disconnected way. But it's also a clip that I feel like I have like a visceral reaction to at the very end, and so you'll see that when we watch it. I'll go ahead and press play.
Story from Dr. Robert Hare is the perfect way to describe what's going on inside of a psychopath's mind. He talks about this psychopath. He's in his apartment in a city one day, and he decides, I'm going to go get some tacos. As he's walking down to this taco place, he sees a car accident, and a mom is screaming and crying and holding her baby that has passed away. And there's people onlooking and crying and screaming with her. The police are there trying to help her and stuff like that. And as he's staring at this incident unfolding inside of his head, here's what you're hearing. I think I want lettuce. I'm going to put lettuce on the tacos this time. Maybe some sour cream. And then he turns and goes to get his tacos. And then walks back by the scene again, looks at it again, comes back home and eats. And then that night before he's going to bed, he's looking in his bathroom mirror going like this, just trying to mimic all of those facial expressions of people grieving and being sad by the car accident, just rehearsing those facial expressions. It's terrifying to understand that there's no empathy in that person, but that's a pure psychopath.
Yeah. I think that is, it literally gives me goosebumps every time he gets to that mirror part. And something I also have thought about numerous times when I was going over wanting to do that, and I was supposed to be recording this last week. I was home with my kids for winter break, and we all got sick, and it's like the time got away. So we'll just do it here and call it a day. But one thing that I wanted to bring up, because I feel like it unfairly tends to be that people will lump together automatically psychopathy with like serial killers. Like anybody who is a psychopath is inevitably potentially a serial killer. But the reality is there are tons of psychopaths out here walking around every day. You work with them, you might have weird vibes from them, but the majority of them are just getting through life. You know, they're just trying to figure out how to get through life as normal as they can. But then the reality also is that most people who end up being serial killers or things of that nature do tend to be of psychopathy. They tend to have these issues because it's just it's one of those things that kind of goes hand in hand, but it doesn't mean that everyone who is likely to become a killer. I mean, that's just not real. There's a lot of people who are psychopaths that are out here all the time, and their lives are fine. They might live alone. They might live by themselves. They may just be, but
I gotta put that up there.
Yeah,
I do that in the mirror after I eat broccoli. To check your teeth, Rick? Or because it's gross. Which one?
So funny.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show, we're not saying she is one, but Elizabeth had brought it up, and
like the idea too, when you think of her eyes and the weird things she does, when she like, oh, you froze. I don't know if I'm frozen too. I'm not on my end, but oh, she's gone, guys. It's just me. Are you still here, everybody? I don't know where she went. Let's see what happened here. Is she coming back? Can you guys still see me? Because you're from her chat, I believe. Okay, so it's just me. Let me text her and see what's up. Also, I want to reference the fact that I have super bad ADHD. So in some of our other videos, a lot of people are like, you keep cutting her off. And okay, yeah, her StreamYard's being wonky. Yeah, people were like yelling at me for cutting her off. Listen, she knows who I am at this point. We're okay. I try not to, but I also just have a real hard time keeping it under control. Let's talk about her. I love it. You guys, please subscribe to my channel because you're my people. I'm texting with her. Bear with us. It's funny. I had said before, I actually used to not think ADHD was a real thing. She's gonna try to get back in a second. And then my older son was diagnosed, and when he was diagnosed, I was like, and I went to the doctors, and they have like a tablet, and you take a test on it, and it's like, it's like a sometimes, never, often, very often. I fucking ace that shit, and I was like, maybe I do have ADHD. And I actually I always talk about how the first time I took Adderall, um, it was like the scene in The Matrix when Neo realizes he's the one. Because everyone would talk about Adderall makes you like you're on speed and you're crazy. But to me, I was like, it was like that scene when everything slows down and instead of everything seeming really crazy, he's just like hitting, their fast moves away. And I was like, so I took Adderall for the first time and it was like instead of like half making my kids lunch and then putting clothes in the dryer and then starting to get ready and then realizing the lunch wasn't finished, I just made the lunch. And I was like, is this what it's like for everybody? You just like think of the thing and you just do it? And so for me, after I realized this is just who I am, I started kind of prefacing when I meet people new. I'm like, listen, if we like each other, we get along great. I'm going to tell you everything about me probably like today. So if it's too much, I used to try to not do it, but like I can't stop that. I've tried. I'm done trying to not be who I am. So if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's cool. It's fine. But I got something in my eye. I can't change who I am, okay, guys? All right. She said it's exclusively her StreamYard right now. I wonder if I can invite her. Weird. But this was her hosting, so I don't even know if I can. Give me just a second. This is also the first time we've tried to do this in a way where we both have the stream on our own channels. Obviously, I'm still building my channel to even get to the point of monetization. So we didn't want to like do one and not the other, but we might have to pop out and pop back in. So many people call me names because I take it, but I don't abuse it. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Oh my God, I love this one. First time I took it, I was talking to my dad and said, I felt like I was talking slowly. And he said, no, you just slowed down to normal speed. Yeah. It's like it's like normally I'm up here and it's like this now. Okay. Her internet like crapped the bed or something. So I apologize, guys. We may have to just pop out and come back in because I don't think I can add her back. I'm trying to see. No, I can't. All right. Well, I'm going to pop out and rejoin with her. So appreciate you guys. See you again in a moment. Are we back?
I think we're back.
I didn't thought that would work. I'm so happy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I hope this works. So sorry, guys. We were having some issues with my Wi-Fi.
Oh
Can
my
you see if it's going?
goodness.
Okay, if you guys are there, put like a 1 in the chat, please.
Yeah,
If
let
you're
us know
not,
you can hear us again
let
because
us
we're
know
like, oh
you.
my god, going the same one again.
I feel like I got invaded.
Yeah, that was well. Speaking of, there's been weird stuff a lot lately on live streams,
Yeah.
and I haven't been paying much attention. I know, like, because so we're in a Discord with quite a few people, Danks being one of them. If you guys follow Danks, I know he has a larger following than us, but he's in there. But a lot of them were
I know
talking
Jeannie
about
does.
issues with weird attacks on their live streams.
Yeah.
And I don't really do anything live too much because I'm still so new. But it does make you really question why mine was weird before we even got on, and then yours was just
Yes.
weird too.
That was and I had to restart my whole computer and like
I was laughing so much right after you left.
Why?
Rick goes, "Let's talk about her."
I love him.
I was laughing
Rick.
so hard.
I love you.
I was like, yeah,
I
let's
love
talk
that.
about
Yeah, sorry,
Did you
sorry,
see
love.
what she
I
was
was
wearing.
yeah, the black shirt she always wears.
I'm like in a hoodie all the time. Like, what am I gonna do?
Yes.
Get fancy?
Yeah, I'm so
Fancy
sorry,
for my
y'all.
basement visit? I feel like I
was
have a hair on my eyelash.
I was telling Rogue off this thing. I called her. I said, "Oh my god, I'm having all these problems." And anyway, I was like, maybe I'm being attacked, but I'm also just very dramatic. Okay.
We were saying that while you were gone.
Yeah, I bet you were. I'm just the most dramatic person. Okay. Let's get back to I've got so many things in here. Okay. We were next to talk about Romania. So
oh
yeah, let's get into the Romania digs. So yes, please go like Rogues too. You're so sweet, love. Oh, you're
I appreciate you.
Yes, here. Thank you all. Please like both if you can. Even
we're
when
trying
you get
really hard. We were talking about this recently, like, this is such a process to get there. And like,
to learn.
I actually was watching Bays today, and he was talking about how he's like, I haven't been paying certain bills for like the last like month. I'm a month behind, but I'm like dedicated. I got to do this. And I was like, I feel that so hard.
Yeah.
Like, like I work part-time. And so I could, for a little while, I was like, I could probably at this point figure out a way to do full-time again. My youngest is 6. He's in 1st grade. But it's hard because you got to be home for the bus drop off, like there's stuff, but I could
my
try
son
to
gets
figure
home
it
at
out.
2. It's
But
like,
it
what
would
real
be
job?
it would be stressful, but I'm
Mhm.
sure we could make it work and figure it out. But the reality is, with my ADHD and like how my brain is, I struggle hard with, like, I worked in insurance. It was real hard for me. And so I said, you know what? We've gotten by as long as we have the way we've been doing it. It's not been easy, but we already have. And I have, a couple of years before he's old enough to be home on his own. If I really just put in the effort, like, I think that I can do this and not need, like, I feel like I would be shooting myself in the foot to go full time at a regular job right now, because then I'm going to lose the momentum. I'm going to lose the ability to have as much time. I'm like, you know what? I think we just suck it up and try and make this work, because I think there's so much more potential with this, and it means so much to me that I don't want to, say no. I'm finally like doing it consistently, and I've wanted to for so long. So
Yeah.
you're stuck with me. Sorry.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. Okay, let's get to Romania. So apparently her nonprofit operated in a place that I think we all know is the epicenter of trafficking. And fun fact, if you guys did not know this, we're going to have an Epstein tie over right here. Jeffrey Epstein was in Romania.
I was going to look into this, but I haven't yet. So I'm so excited that you have something.
Yes, the year Erika Fransby was in Romania.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I had a tip from a person. She sent me the receipts. I was going to do a separate video on it, but as we're talking about this, that is weird. Why are you in Romania? And what parent sends your child to Romania if they're in their 17s?
I know. Well, and here's the thing, is I had dug into this pretty early on, because the colonel that is referenced in a lot of what's Colonel Otter, whatever his name is, I can't think of it off the top of my head, when he is referenced in this all, I found out after digging in that he lives about an hour from me. He's from literally
course he
where I
does.
live in rural New England. And I was like, what are the freaking odds? So then I was thinking, maybe I can like, is there something locally that I can try to go get some more information, whatever. But everything I was finding was very vague, and they've definitely made it seem like I went online on Facebook, see if we have mutual friends in some capacity or whatever, because you never know.
Mhm.
And but anyway, I don't think that a lot of people think about it from the right perspective, because it's so easy to go, well, she was there trying to combat that or whatever. But the reality is the orphanage program she had was on the Air Force Base,
With
the
the
same Air
allegations.
Force Base where that man was accused at the same time. She references him. She talks about having worked with him, and he's the individual that was accused. And
She says a
her
thank
orphanage
you
was
in a
on
video.
the Air Force Base, and
Yes.
that's what the problem was. They were claiming that there was a brothel essentially being run out of the Air Force Base to the military members. Okay?
And they said there was an Israeli tie to that. It wasn't just Romania. They weren't just for the US people. They were funneling to Israel from, so it'd go from Romania place to this US base to Israel.
Mhm.
And that seems very odd, because does she not have Israel ties? We've seen her in photos with Netanyahu's son. These relationships by themselves are red flaggy. They're not even a yellow flag.
Yeah. And the funniest part to me is when you stop and think about like how she's presented her life, like her mother was a single mom raising her, all of this, right? It's like, okay, well, she presents it that way. She doesn't even go and say, my mom worked in these crazy, like, government programs. Or she never comes out and says that. That's just stuff we've all discovered on our own. She's always presented it like her mom was just like a single mom working her butt off. And it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, how many people do you know as just a Joe Schmo living your life, working day to day, that are have any accusations of any type of trafficking ever, are, verified or accused of being child predators? Does anybody on here who's just a regular person know of somebody who's involved in, not even just like, I'm not talking about, child corn. I'm talking about like being accused of human trafficking.
Yeah,
This
in an
is not
operation.
something that
It's an
people just
operation.
stumble across.
Yes, like,
And they have it all around them, and it's insane.
And I'm not, like, kind of to your point, it sounds bad to say, there's always a local perv. People will hear about them. Don't let your
Yes.
kids go around them, but they're not
Stay away from
accused.
that house.
Stay away. Yeah, you don't know yet, whatever. And it's a little bit different now. I even think there's less of that from what I can tell. I think the worst part is it's bigger in operations now, where it's like if
Yes.
you send
There's a
somebody to
lot
an
more knowledge
institution.
around the
Yes.
large players.
So it's more of an
Before it was
institutionalized.
always just the individual creeps.
Yes.
The freaking, what's his name from Subway dudes,
Right. Well, he's so
who was
far up, he
also
could have been part
in
of
his
something.
own thing. Well, that whole, did you ever watch that, by the way? That
Not the whole
documentary?
thing. Mm-mm.
Insane.
Oh, I bet.
And
Yeah.
what is he getting? He got like 16 years and he's getting released or something
Well, he's
next
probably
year.
the fall guy. Like, I mean, that's the other thing.
No,
It's
there's like audio of him talking about wanting it. It's
Oh,
gross.
no, I know, but I mean, if there was a
Oh.
bigger operation, they
Oh,
always
yeah,
pin
for
it
sure.
on
There's
someone.
always someone above them.
Yes, there's
For
always
sure.
more. They just get a fall
Jared,
guy.
that's right.
and
Why
then-
couldn't I think of that?
Yes,
Yeah,
Jared.
Jared from Subway. who
Yes,
lost
Jared
the weight
Subway guy.
and
Okay,
then
cool.
apparently
So
thought he was a stud.
Ew. Yeah.
Gross.
Okay, so that was
With
weird.
saggy skin.
I think that leads
Sorry.
us into the weird combos with the 15-year-old. Okay. We covered that extensively already, so I don't think we need to go too far into that.
Although I want to, I have something on that, because
Mhm.
remember when we were talking before, I said that's not even possible. And I dug into that. First of all, people gave me shit for saying that I asked Grok if you could privatize individual tweets from the past. And Grok said, no, you can't. And they're like, oh, way to do investigation.
Wait, back it
Grok.
up and give a little more context. So
Okay.
Yes.
Lisa
Knows said some things.
Lisa knows.
Lisa Knows, who came out of
she
nowhere.
claimed she was digging into these old texts between these tweets between Erika and this 15-year-old girl, and that over the course of 2 days, she noticed that there were some tweets that weren't there before. And she states very confidently that they must have just gone in and like unprivatized all of their stuff so everybody could see it. But the problem is you can't do that. You either can privatize your entire tweets feed altogether, or you can't. You cannot pick and choose. The only thing that would happen is if you chose to privatize your entire feed, there would be some remaining if you had like the ats and you tagged someone in a post. Unless that was deleted or they untagged them, it would stay there. But otherwise, you cannot privatize. So essentially, if they had privatized, all we would see are ones other people are tagged in. So then I had done the whole, oh, well, Grok said you can't. And someone's like, oh, I asked Grok. Well, Grok is also X, okay? They're the same. And so it's like, first of all, that's where you should be asking because it's literally from the same place. But I also tried to confirm if you could have done it in the past. So like, was it something that you could do before and it changed like when X was purchased?
So you're trying to prove that the tweets may have been manipulated.
Could not have been, unprivatized because that's not a feature. And that would mean I had said at the time, I said, I think that someone that maybe TPUSA has access to, because we know they have some access because they've got plenty of money, and that could get in some sort of backdoor way and add these tweets to try and mitigate the problems that were coming up from these very suspicious ones between a 15-year-old. And
yeah, because some went missing. You couldn't go back and find some of the stuff from that original video that Missy did.
That was the other thing.
Yes.
So not only were there new ones added, because she had screenshots, I think, in hers. Yeah, she did. And all the new ones were all from the same day, too. Like as if someone just was like, just put them all in for the same day. Like they're so fucking lazy. But so these new ones are added, which apparently should never have been able to have been privatized. So where did they come from? And I was saying, I think someone came in from like some techie backdoor way to manipulate it, add more. And then probably realizing that, oh shit, you can't do that. Everything from like 2024 and 2014 and earlier was wiped completely. So then you ended up not being able to even see anything else.
Yes, so those texts that we
now.
were seeing that were between the 15-year-old and
they were in
PK,
2013.
they were gone. So
they were gone. If you scrolled from the start of the feed as far as you could go, it was from September 2014 to May 2014. And other than that, there was nothing else. So unless they deleted them all, which also wasn't possible because it still said that there was 18,500 tweets on there. So then I bring this up because I was watching the Tucker interview the other day with Clayton from Redacted, and he said, we found out and we know that the government specifically has backdoor access to Twitter and X. And I went,
yes, they do. And he had asked if they had ever turned that off. He asked Elon Musk. Now, to add on to that, this Lisa Knows, in case you guys don't know who we're talking about, recently went on Zach Costello to try and debate him about these texts. And this was after that Rogue had found you cannot basically make all these unprivate if they were already private. It would have been all or nothing, basically. And so it's obvious that there was some type of manipulation surrounding these tweets. So I think that's the other thing, is that's kind of like guilty by admission, in my opinion. If you're going to mess with something in the background and the
then
weirder
people
thing,
find out it's not a possibility.
Well, this hasn't really blown up either. No one has really talked about it. We're not like, super big, but these tweets are missing. If you go back and look,
I recognize that in the grand scheme, maybe it seems like whatever, but the reality to me is, well, then we need to know who has the backdoor access. Because if it's the government and they're the only ones, what's going on? That's a concern.
Right. Which would
can you
feed
share
back into her being an operative.
Can you share the comment from Love and Compassion one? I think that's important. I've been saying this for so long. The timeline one.
Yep.
I've been saying this for so long. It says, I agree with Barron when he says the timeline is the most important thing. Once you get it, you can cross-reference it with other players' timelines. This, to me, I have said for a little while now that I think that this is the only way we know for sure when we have something right. Because we don't know what documentation was manipulated in the moment at the time when, we could pull something up from the 80s. It doesn't mean that the document they submitted at the time was truthful. But what we can do is say, this person was here on this date, and we know that. And then when we get more information, we can say, well, this person was here on that date. Isn't that interesting? And now we can connect dots that documents and lies don't fix. And I agree. I think the timeline is the most important thing. That's why it pissed me off so much in the beginning with the Charlie Kirk thing, when everyone was acting like, why are we looking at the days leading up? What are we talking about? That's what you do in any investigation.
That tells
You want to know where the
everything.
people were beforehand, because and the reality is, you look at in a real investigation, you're looking at people for probably a year or more in advance. What were you doing then? How long have you been thinking about this? Like, to act like it's unreasonable to be like, where were you 2 days before, is mind-boggling. Stop being so naive and stupid.
Yeah, I mean, heck, you could probably pull it back about a year when Charlie starts changing his stances and all these little
Yes,
things.
it goes for a while.
Okay, I want to say this, and I haven't been able to get out and say this. I feel like what I've realized is Charlie Kirk had a huge campaign going against him around this time, trying to make him sound like all he was an Israel shill, so no one would listen to him. And then at that same time is when he's actually saying, why would we go into Iran? What happened at the Gaza border? Like Ben Shapiro, do you think they're being honest? But everyone, like a Nick Fuentes, would be like, we're going to take down Charlie Kirk because he's an Israel shill, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. No one was listening to what he was saying. And I missed it too, because the media was trying to tell us who he was. And they're trying to brand him as an Israel first person. And instead, and then that's how they wanted him to die, was as an Israel first person. But
that's why they're trying so hard after.
They're still trying to do that. But they knew in the back of their heads he was changing, and eventually they were going to catch on. Like, the masses were going to catch it. So they were running a huge propaganda while he was alive, trying to get people to say he's only about Israel. And I think that
because then it'll confirm their statements after the fact.
Exactly. Yeah. I think they actually built it very far back to make it seem like this is the only thing he really is, when they actually knew behind closed doors he was asking questions, telling them I'm not into this, going to the president. And I think they smeared him while he was alive.
I do find it interesting. Was it Barron? It might have been. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I think it might have been Barron. But someone had basically said that they think that the actual reasoning behind wanting to get rid of him was when he took his stance against Iran.
Yes, 100%. Which is
and
against
now
Israel.
Here we are. What a coincidence, huh?
And Tucker was the only one who came out and really defended him and said Charlie
Maybe
was
it was Tucker. Maybe he's the one. I don't remember who it was. Someone
Tucker came out.
I think it was Iran. His statements on Iran that actually was what did him in.
I think probably.
I don't think it was Tucker, because I don't think he said anything about him being taken out on. I don't think he's gone that far.
He did in a video I just watched, Megyn Kelly.
Maybe recently, but I don't think he did for a while. He was pretty.
What Tucker was doing while everyone else was still saying he was a shill was saying, no, behind your guys' back, to the president's face. He went to to Washington multiple times saying that people don't want to be in Iran. We only found that out after the fact. Charlie was humble too. He didn't go around, like, I'm not like shilling for him, but I'm just saying, like,
no,
people painted a picture of him that was so negative on either side of the aisle. And then you come out and find out he was actually fighting really hard.
I feel like he was not like me, is what I was going to. I am like, I got information. You want it? And I'm like, I can't see it. Okay, here it is.
Right.
I'm not good.
And he was just playing puppet in the background. He had a lot more power than people thought, but Israel knew. And so, I think that Charlie was in the way of whatever they were trying to tell Trump, because Charlie and Donald Trump Jr. were really close. And, I think some of what's happened right now is just due to the fact that we lost Charlie, which is pretty sad.
Yep. I agree.
Anyway, okay. We've already kind of touched on one of the things I've got on here. Another thing I want to just quickly bring up is like the mother's business and her identity questions. So if you look through her background, she's had such a weird lead up, and she's like, Erika Kirk's obsessed with her mom. So you can't think that Lori Fronsby is out of this picture, because Erika, all she talks about is her mom. You can tell she's obsessed with her mom. She's been, which is fine. but it's like to a point where that's really all she talks about. She basically worships the ground she walks on. So what does her mom do? Well, her mom does defense work, contract work, military work, 7 or 8 different name variations, which a lot of people were saying, well, that could even mean she was some type of spook. And then, so that would make you to think about the MK Ultra stuff we're talking about, or maybe just, Eric has been kind of polished to be in this world. And another thing, we were talking about the pageants when you talk about the pageants and stuff, that's kind of part of that program, is putting you out into the world stage when you're younger.
Well, it's a way to test your training skills.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, and that's part of Lori's core, right? So her mom really set her up for this lifestyle. And I think that's kind of a red flag if you think about it. Erika,
we missed a lie.
What was that?
We missed a lie.
Oh, what was it?
We missed the Superman neck lie.
Oh, I played that earlier, the steel neck. I put it at the top.
Oh, I missed. Well, I didn't. I wasn't thinking. I was thinking about how she had claimed, or who had claimed, was it Andrew Colvett claimed that the doctor had made the statement?
Yes, and it was her.
And then she claimed. Then it was verified that she made the statement, which is just a lie. But she made a statement essentially saying the doctor said this, so she lied straightforward.
Yes. Love, I totally agree. That's it's funny. Rogue and I were talking off the cuff. One of the reasons we started this, but I had been thinking for a long time that she has to be an operative. And if you ever go back on my channel and watch the victim testimony of the girl who was in this the trafficking ring, she basically tells you exactly how they run these rings, but also how people get onto the world stage, because they first start out in some trafficking operation that their parents may have signed them up in, or they were bought or sold or whatever. But it could be similar for Erika. I'm not saying this is true. This is just if you think about it. So they go through all of that trauma. And then once they pass the tests and they survive whatever happens, then they'll say, oh, we'll put you up as a singer, or we'll put you up as, pageant girl, whatever it is. They will do it for you because now you've passed all this weird initiation. She says they teach you how to be an operative, teach you how to make men fall in love with you. And so I think Candace is trying to give this background of, well, she came from a place that not a lot of us have came from.
Yeah.
Ever hear from an MK Ultra type victim, or just part of that sick system that we're not in. They kind of parallel each other. So I think that's why Lori's very key here, because it's like, well, how did you go from being some admin to running weapons and defense contracts and aerospace contracts? And that's not normal. That's not normal.
And people want to look at these things and be like that, it's her mother. There's always that sort of the reality is there are unfortunately a lot of shitty mothers, and there's unfortunately a lot of shitty mothers who sell their kids. They literally do.
Yes. Yes.
They do it. So to act as though this is unheard of, I mean, the biggest difference would be usually in those scenarios, it's probably maybe drug based, or, driven by something like that, needs of their own, and they're being selfish. Whereas when you get into situations where these more prestigious and higher up people are choosing to do this, it's for much grander reasons. But the fact of the matter remains that these are parents who are choosing to do this for their kids. And it does, that doesn't take away the fact that there's plenty of them who will. And, whether most of us don't experience that, thank God, the reality is there's plenty that do. And it's not like this is an unheard of thing at all.
Right.
And if anything, those ones that choose to sell their kids are probably doing it while they're in a really tough part in their life. Not an excuse, obviously. For most people, I think if you're in that tough part of your life and you have kids, you're probably coming out of it for your kids. But the reality is that there are some that don't see past that and can't see past that. So they choose this other thing selfishly. But then there's the ones like this that are not drug addicts, that are not in a position like that. And they're choosing to do it for these other really, really terrible reasons. And it's the truth. It's real life.
And satanic and whatever else. It's
power. I feel like power is always it.
Yes.
It's always,
so far
I'm going to be
beyond
powerful.
It's just so far beyond what normal people deal with. That's why I think it's good that Candace is doing this series. I can tell she's going to start hinting on where was she during those forgotten years? And then also,
That's interesting. I wanted to dive into that missing years weird for sure. But
so I'm going to say something about that. I've got on authority someone who may have seen her in person, Miss Erika Kirk. And apparently she has a young looking face. She looks around my age, around your age, where she would be in the middle. But apparently in person, she kind of walks like she's in her later 40s.
I think she's 4 years younger than me.
Yeah. So she would be mid 30s, but people say when they're around her, she actually acts older, and people have joked around that she may not actually be the age she is. Now, whether this is true or not, but I have heard that. And, that makes these missing years a little bit important. And mind you, if you're in these government programs, they can just make you a birth certificate. If you're a spy for another country, if you're whatever, they can do that. They can put you on the world
people
stage.
Can't make a piece of paper and come on.
Yes. And so if Candace says any of that, I'm not saying this is true. I don't know. I'm just saying if she says anything like that, don't even be surprised. That's what these people do. They don't want their victims who they put onto the stage to be in their own reality. They want you to be able to disassociate so you can carry on their mission, their operation, whatever. So that's what happened to Erika Kirk. Don't be surprised. Because
I can't get over how different she looks from one day to the next. And I don't mean that in the sense that like that video we watched the other day where she wasn't like done up. Like that's not even what I mean. I mean like she physically looks like a different person. Like her face shape looks different from one day to the next. I swear to God, some days it's really full and maybe she's bloated for some reason, what do I know? But I just feel like sometimes it's like, wow, she really does totally look like a different person here.
Yeah. And it would be different if she had different hair all the time, because when my hair is curly, I look different than when my hair is straight.
It's her face.
It's not that. It is her face. Like
it's very different sometimes. It's very weird. Do you recall I don't recall what year was it that's missing? What age, what year was it?
I thought she said there was
18. It was like when she was done with school, right? And there's that video she had played where she talked about how she like went to like, read her Bible multiple times back to back, cover to cover or whatever. And like, that was the year. So I think it was like shortly after graduating or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was like 18-ish.
Yeah, I'm
trying to remember.
Exactly.
I was only thinking because I'm trying to think in regards to a timeline, like what year would it have been?
Mm-hmm.
Between 17 and 18. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought too. So then I'm going, all right, I'm 4 years older than her. I'm trying to think of like, where was I? What was popular at the time? What was going, you know what I mean? I try to just like put myself in that time to get an idea of what was happening in general.
Because I guess between 2006 and
I was dating my husband for a few months. Didn't know that would happen.
So I guess between 2006 and 2010, she was doing the college pageantry thing. So it must have been before then on the timeline. That's what I have. So we'll need to we can put that in here. But yeah. And we can say this. Remember how she said that she had no prior background in the pageants? And then it turns out she did. She'd been on multiple different.
And this is a great example of the little white lie that people think is nothing. But why do you lie about everything? Literally everything. And I know it seems like nothing, but I said this earlier too. If you work with someone and you've caught them in 10 separate mini lies over the course of 2 years, are you fucking trusting them with anything? No.
Not to run a company.
That person is just a liar. You know what I mean? And so, to imagine that this person is someone that people are defending so staunchly when she lies about the dumbest shit, it's literally like a pathological liar, like someone who can't possibly not lie. I grew up with one. It's like, why are you lying about that? Like, you could, like, it wasn't even necessary. You know what I mean? Like, that was irrelevant. It was extra. There was no reason for it. I don't get it. And like, that's why, and Candace says this all the time, if you're just honest all the time, you don't have to worry about trying to keep up with your lies. But when you lie so much, it's like, it's coming to get you. And it has been. I just remember when Charlie showed up on the podcast one day and said, we had another baby. Yeah, I know. I don't know. This one's hard for me because I feel like I did see some pictures that looked like she had like a C-section maybe. I don't know, that he posted. doesn't mean anything necessarily, but and I have been curious because I was thinking of this the other day, the whole pregnancy thing. I feel like we haven't heard Candace address this at all, and she was very close with Charlie. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder if she's like, look, guys, I saw her pregnant. You know, there's no pictures, but I feel like she would have brought this up already. She brought it up with Brigitte. I think that she would have brought it up if she had never seen Erika pregnant. You know what I mean? I feel like it would have come up already. So I'm thinking she's just ignoring it because it's small potatoes and it's like whatever. But what do I know?
Sorry, my dog is being super barky downstairs.
Can't
and it's
hear
like,
it.
You can't hear it at all?
No.
Okay, good,
no.
because it's so loud. Like, and it's my my loudest dog. Sorry, guys. I don't know what he's
Dude,
barking
what
at
is that
either.
face in that picture you just sent in Discord?
Wait a
Her
second.
face is crazy looking in that. I'm sorry. Like,
Here,
let me
turn your phone or something. Oh, you
it
can't
won't
hear the
look
dog?
good.
Okay,
Let me
good.
pull it up on Discord anyway. I have a Discord right here. Let me just refresh.
Yeah, everything's okay. He's probably playing with the other two dogs that don't want to play with him, so he's barking at them, and he's a puppy. He's like 9 months old. So he's probably just like barking and be like, "Rah, rah, rah, play with me." And they're not going to. I have a grumpy old girl.
I can't find it on my computer. Wait, hold on. I got it. Okay. Share this.
let's see
I'm
this
sorry.
photo.
Her face is wild looking like a freaking oh, this is bringing something up. Okay, I'm going to say this first. It's very woo-woo crazy conspiracy theory stuff, right? Okay. I'm bringing this up because this looks like this to me. It's not, but it does. You know how everybody talks about how when they're going to do something, they have to tell you first, right? Like the powers that be. They need to put it out there and be upfront, although everybody thinks it's whatever. I have this theory that the wax museums that are in certain places that we've kind of forgotten about, but like, you know, they're pretty incredible now. Like I remember I went to one in San Antonio years and years and years and years ago, and they're like, they're decent, but now they're like really mind-boggling.
Really?
And I'm like, is this them literally showing us these are our practice clones?
Oh,
Like
maybe.
us practicing. You guys can have the ones we didn't like perfect, because then you see the ones that have gotten so good, right? Like the Beyonce ones, it's like she's standing right there, right? It's incredible. But then you see ones like, you know, people like what like Kathy Griffin's. Hers is a little bit like discount store-ish, right? And I feel like that's when they go, well, we need to make sure that the ones that are important are really perfected. So we've really worked on Beyonce, Kathy Griffin's, whatever. But do you know what I mean? So now let's look at this picture that was shared with me because it's creepy looking. It's really creepy looking.
Oh.
Why does her face look like that?
That doesn't look like her.
Like, what is going on?
That literally doesn't look like her.
Literally doesn't look like her. What is happening right here? Can I zoom in? Oh, that's terrifying. Who is this?
Oh my god, zoom in on the other one too. I just want to make I gotta triple check this thing.
Unless we're talking immediately following birth, yeah, we all look a little puffy. Our noses get a little bigger, you know.
But
there's things.
something's weird here.
This is weird. This is
I've never
weird-ass
seen her
face.
look like this. Never.
Why? It's scary looking, right? Though,
and her makeup isn't that much different, guys.
It's
okay,
weird
Rob.
looking.
I'm putting yours up too. All right. This is what Rob thinks. In his opinion, they're a money laundering company, and Erika scammed Charlie. Well, okay. Allegedly, in his opinion, we're putting Rob's opinion on the screen here. But okay. Actually, to that point, that's why Candace is bringing up all of these occasions of these people around her family in gambling or fraud.
Yes.
She's showing and painting a picture.
Even that's the same thing as like the idea of like how many people do you know who are child traffickers? How many people do you know have a genuine gambling problem or gambling? You know what I mean? Like,
or
yes,
owns them.
I have known people, but like I can count on my hand the people I've known. I definitely don't know anybody who runs one. You know what I mean? Like, it's
connection
crazy.
with. I think I read there was a connection with the Adelsons.
This
and
picture's creeping me out.
It's honestly
it's so weird looking.
I feel like it's
perhaps maybe
it is. Okay, wait. I'm gonna take it off now.
I
So we
know.
don't
It's
keep
like
seeing
it's
that.
like the reaction I had to Chase going in the mirror.
Conduct the audit. Yes, I agree. That's the other thing is them. I don't think this was an Erika lie, but we'll just say this, Rick. Why was it so hard to conduct the audit? And I told Rogue this. I don't think I've said this on my stream before, but I think the reason Charlie was wanting to conduct the audit was because he knew his time would come when there would be questions
Wait a
about what was
second.
going
We
on.
need to go back to this and reshare my
Okay.
wait. She just sent me something else. This has
Hey,
to
ma'am.
be something wrong. They messed
That's
up.
not even
Someone
her.
used
Oh,
the
that's not
wrong.
her.
That's what's her face.
That's yeah.
I feel like someone just used the wrong picture.
Yeah, that's not
But
her. That's
it's just a
can't remember
mix
her
up.
name.
It's got to
Yeah.
be a mix up. Yeah,
That's
that's
a mix up. That's
Tommy
not her.
Lahren.
Yes.
But interesting nonetheless.
Yes. She gives off that she's like joyous about things that she shouldn't be, and I think a lot of people don't feel that way. Like don't feel like that makes sense. But yeah, I think he probably was calling this TPUSA audit because he knows one day someone will be in power that may want to, come after his company for what's going on, and money was missing and all of that stuff, and he was trying to clean his books up. And it's like,
and we were talking about that the other day, right? Because
Yeah.
we were referencing Jesse on Fire. He talks about how he thinks that Charlie's still alive, and he thinks that this is all because Charlie could have potentially gone to prison after the election because of blah blah blah. But we were talking about this too, and I was saying that I just don't see Charlie Kirk putting that on the world, first of all,
Right.
having to traumatize all these people. I don't see him as the person who's like, yeah, fuck them, do it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that.
No.
And in addition to that, like, what would he have gotten?
Slap
Like
on the wrist, fine,
maybe
yeah.
some probation of some kind. Like, I don't think that's not like a let's change the course of the world over like even some jail time. Like, I could see him being like, fuck it, I did it. Like, I didn't realize I did it, or I messed up. I didn't have the control I should have had. Like, I'll take the punishment. I could see him being that person.
Right.
And even if he wasn't, I still don't think it would have even been anything close to let's go into witness protection over it. You know what I mean? And it's not anything against, maybe I don't know. I didn't watch all Jesse's series. I haven't watched it all because I just haven't had the time. But like, and so maybe I'm missing something. If I am, fill me in. But if that's the whole reasoning behind it, I'm not buying that.
So I think a lot of people also think he like may have faked it because of how odd everyone's acting around him, which brings us back to this exact
we
thing.
talked about that. We talked about that the other day about how people can have been involved, but they're involved in compartments. These people know they messed up. They know they made bad calls. They know that they could get in trouble. And then these people did something else that they messed up, and they know that they could get in trouble. And then Charlie Kirk is taken out. And then people say, if you don't listen and you don't say the right things and you don't follow suit, we've got this on you. We've got this, they were doing the wrong things and they weren't doing good things, but they didn't do them in the sense that they anticipated to be part, they weren't all like, let's all try to kill Charlie. That's not what happened. But now that they're all in this together, what choice do they have?
Right. Yeah, they're in the they're in the cover up stage because Andrew Colvette, and we're going to get back to our timeline of the lies, but Andrew Colvette, he obviously did turn in what he said. He turned in this text message with Charlie. So him at first was most likely kind of trying to do the right thing. And then this happens and he realizes, okay, maybe I have to keep my job. So I'm going to be complicit and do whatever Erika tells me to say, because it was quite clear when Erika made him say the steel neck thing that like that was something a woman would lie about. Like the way he said he had put that tweet out, I'm
weird.
Like, that's a woman.
Don't throw me in that category.
I know, but because it's this weird cunning type of lie where it's like, oh, maybe like,
and I do think there was a sort of like I do think that and I still think she has like a sort of belief that she's above it all because of the connections they have. So it doesn't really matter that much. All the little lies.
She kind of is.
She probably could be right. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, that's how they're acting. If they were acting any differently, we wouldn't be having this stream.
True.
Okay, let's get back to another claim. This would be during her Manhattan years before meeting Charlie. I never dated anyone during my 5 years in New York. Well, we know we have.
I never dated anyone, but I was on a dating TV show. Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
I can't. I
Get
can't
out of
do it.
here. So I've got a timeline. So she, in 2013, Josh Harrelson, she dated the former Kentucky basketball player. Cabot Phillips, 2017, which we know was buddies with Charlie Kirk at some point, right? They were cool. So like we all know there's a club. We're not in it. Okay. So they knew each other. Jordan Verroy, that was the person she appeared on the Summer House with. I don't know if I said his last name right. So that's the Summer House guy she lightly dated. And then she met Charlie Kirk in 2018. And then she also dated JT Massey during some of these years. I don't have his exact year, but I mean, you can't say you didn't date. Like, why would you lie about that? We're all adults.
Click on that. Yes, that one.
Yes.
I find this one important because I agree that they're aware there's no investigation coming,
Yes.
which is why they don't care that their stuff doesn't line up. They don't care about the little white lies because they know no one's doing anything. And they definitely think that none of us have the ability to have an impact on it.
100%.
Watch out, bitches. We're coming
Yeah.
for you.
Well, one day we won't have the same administration. One day there'll be people that are a little bit younger that are whatever.
Doesn't mean nobody's coming for you 10 years from now if you get away with it now.
Yes.
Hopefully that's not the case, but
yeah. Sorry.
Squeaky wheels.
Like, 2 seconds. This dang dog is just fighting with the other dog. I'm gonna put you on blast and like remove myself from.
Remove yourself. We're gonna talk about her now. Just kidding. Now look how close my freaking face is. Thanks, girl. I don't think I can change it either. It's like just me. Hey, everybody. I'm a little weird. I know. It's okay, but it's who I am. I'm not going to change. I'm going to do a shameless plug, you guys. If you're following and you like all of this, please follow subscribe to my channel because I'm definitely still growing and I have a long way to go, but we're getting there.
I'm back.
They have a trial as a holdup for any other type of investigation. Yeah, the trial is stressing me out because I swear if they take cameras out of there, I'm going to stab them right in the faces.
Well, okay. Brandy and Billy have said this is totally off the topic of whatever. It's on the Charlie Kirk topic, but it's not on the Erika Kirk. That Tyler's family doesn't feel like he did it, but he knows who did it and doesn't want to get that person in trouble. That's some lore that the FBI should be investigating, or the Utah County. What's going on there, people?
It's really frustrating too.
Okay, sorry, go on. We didn't talk about this and I agree. This is something.
No, I was just going to say it's really frustrating too because I tend to get torn when it comes to the trial because I do recognize that technically the FBI, I don't believe, is technically involved in the investigation because it is a state thing. So people often call out the FBI for not being involved and not doing anything when technically it's not their case, which I get, but at the same time I feel like they should be. Obviously, it should be an FBI case. Dude, we have people who small potato cases that involve the FBI. So why would this one not?
Well,
that's just an easy out for them.
It's most likely an operation. If it was a lone shooter, sure, whatever. But like it doesn't read like that. There were people there that shouldn't have been. Like there's enough information that it looks at least coordinated. So you'd imagine the FBI would need to get involved in case there's anyone.
Well, the FBI is the one that found the gun, the rifle,
right?
That wasn't.
So why were they involved
beforehand and was absolutely definitely shot, even though a bomb dog couldn't find it within a few hundred feet. It was definitely there, and the same one that was shot, and that's for sure.
100%. Okay, I'm gonna get to Amp's thing because I love it. The IRN's clearance letter read like a pardon, essentially. So I agree that was really weird, and we had talked about this on one of my videos, but the letter was literally because they were at the same conference on the same day, and she got this letter because she rubbed shoulders with these people.
Can you type it up for me real quick?
Yeah, can you have your admin do this and sign it for me?
Kate, I just thought of something.
What?
Do you remember who I had said also went to this? Was it maybe she went to the same university, but she for sure was part of the Falkirk Center?
Who
was his? What do they call her? The human typewriter. Trump's human typewriter is in a picture with Erika Kirk on her Instagram, and she now works directly for Trump as an
Oh,
immediate
yeah.
aide. She's his human typewriter. She was in the photo at the Fall Kirk Center, and I'm pretty sure she went to Liberty University. So
Yeah,
she's like part of that group of
all
people.
these
So could
people
human typewriter just type up me a new type up a letter for me while we're here.
Well, it's funny because Charlie Kirk had said he had for a while liked Liberty University, had a while liked the Fall Kirk stuff that they did. But then eventually he said, and I remember him saying this, and I don't know why I remembered it, that Hillsdale College is the only university in America he thinks that still has some genuine authenticity to it. So he had worked with Liberty University, he had worked with all these people, and then he's not stupid. There's no way he didn't figure something out about once again, the trafficking type of allegations going on at the Liberty University maternity house, where that woman said she literally wanted to keep her baby and they made her give it away. What else is that called? But taking that's kidnapping. I mean, it's crazy. So
did you know? I didn't know. Did you know that how there was a delay, obviously, with the FBI getting there and doing their thing? That's why like the rifle wasn't found. Did you know that the delay was almost 24 hours, and it was because of the fact that Cash had been using the private jets and they needed a break? So they couldn't go investigate the Charlie Kirk assassination for 24 hours because the pilots had a mandatory rest due to Cash's extensive usage of their private jets.
He's living his best life right now.
It's
Okay,
so embarrassing.
We saw
I
him
feel like
at
it's like,
the
what's that
Olympics.
fucking movie? Ding, 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 ding.
Oh,
those two
yeah.
dudes? I feel like that's like him right now on the fucking plane. Like, yeah, I'm in my plane. Like, in his mom's fucking windbreaker because he's the size of a 16-year-old kid.
Well, did you hear the story about Cash? Guys, this is tea time here. The story where Cash was literally asking one of his deputies to take off their jacket and make sure they give him a size medium. So he was wearing a woman's jacket. He put this woman's jacket on to go to the Charlie Kirk press briefing because he forgot his jacket and wanted to look official, like he was that guy.
His junior's version.
Yes, so he was wearing a woman's jacket, which there's nothing wrong with whatever, but
I just had a flashback to The Office when Michael Scott is wearing a woman's pantsuit and they're all like, why are you wearing a woman's pantsuit?
So anyway, Cash is also a diva and like whatever, but is that who we want to head our FBI? Come on.
Oh, he's so pathetic. And he always looks terrified and cracky.
He's held hostage, baby.
I zoomed in on that clip. There's a clip. I could find it probably, but maybe it's Megyn Kelly. Someone is asking him if he has any reason to believe that TPUSA had any involvement in the Charlie Kirk assassination. And he goes, 0. And I'm like, what is that? I like zoomed in on that mouth. He's like, 0. Like, don't say anything else. Like
0.
And then there's the Bongino when they're asking him, what are you most thankful for? And if you zoom in on his eyes on that one, he's like, what am I most thankful for? Israel, the defense of Israel. Like his fucking eyes go, wow. And he goes, oh shit, this is a test.
Yes. Oh man. They're just held at Israel.
This is why all of these people are actors. This is why all of the people who lead countries are actors, because if you're not an actor, we get Bongino and Patel.
Yeah. And
it's obvious.
Well, the thing is your body doesn't lie to a certain point. Your mouth can, but your eyeballs, if they're
those
bugging,
are like block. They talk on the behavior panel. They talk about this stuff all the time. When people do that, it's like blocking. They'll do it with their eyes, but they'll do it with their mouths too, where they're intentionally like, don't say anything else. You don't realize you're doing it, but I'm watching that, and he goes, it's like this slow motion, like. He's like dying. Oh, my
holding on for life. Okay, let's get back to more claims.
Blink rate for sure.
Did I say this one already? I don't drink. And then she was drinking.
I don't know if you did. I think we were just on the date. So
we're just on the dates. So then she also said she didn't drink for no reason.
And then I love all the montages of her then like throwing drinks back.
Who genuinely, I think and I've said this in other videos, if she would have just said, I kind of turned my life around. I was kind of in the party stage. I got, I was young. It was whatever. I met Charlie. I wanted to be with him.
No one would think twice.
I wouldn't give a shit. It's not my business. I'm an adult, and so are
Yes.
you. But you
And
go
no,
on with these white lies
everyone
because there's something wrong in the head, then we're all gonna question you.
and this is where that weird disconnect happens, right? Because I feel like most people with half a brain would, like, recognize that the best way to approach it would be to just be, like, honest like that,
Right.
and in her mind, it's like, "Well, no, my role right now is trad wife, I have to stay trad wifey." It's like, "No, that's not real life, and everybody knows that," but in her mind, it's like, "Well, this is my role right now, so I
I know
can't say
why.
something else."
She probably told Charlie all these things and realized she couldn't literally go on national television and say shit she didn't tell Charlie.
I
Like,
just
I'm
can't.
sure during their little interview date, she's like, "I just don't drink. I've barely dated anybody." Like, and so she has to say this live because she already said it to him. That's the only reasonable
This is
thing.
like, have you know how you're, like, standing with someone and maybe you're not really talking poorly about somebody else, but you're having a conversation about someone who's somewhere in the vicinity, and then all of a sudden, that person starts approaching you, and the person you're talking with is like, "Oh, they're coming." It's like, "Fuck off with that. Just stop talking. They don't know
Right.
what we're talking about, but now they definitely know what we're talking about."
Yes, exactly.
All you had to do was taper the conversation off. They weren't around.
Or
They'd
talk
have
about the
no
weather.
you could continue talking about it and use no names, and they wouldn't know that it was
No.
them.
No,
Like,
no. Yeah.
but you go, oh, shit, they're coming, shut up." Well, fuck me, now they know.
Yeah, that's how she is. I mean, all right, what's another one? Okay. Oh, she these aren't necessarily lies, but just some weird things. Apparently, she had an old follower, like an Instagram account that got deleted. All of her ex-boyfriends scrubbed their posts. There was photographers' accounts that were deleted. This was on a video I was watching. I didn't actually know some of this stuff. And then so I guess she like went through a big digital scrub. Which we know some of that, but like I didn't realize that she had all of her ex-boyfriends scrub their posts.
Well, she didn't do a very good job either because Patriotic Housewife is the one who found that, um, that one highlight. She cleared, like, a lot of her Instagram stuff, but she didn't clear the highlight reels, and so then she was going through all the highlight reels, which is when she found that one that said, "If you could talk to yourself from 5 years ago, what would you tell yourself?" And it
Mhm.
said, "Don't try cocaine."
I missed that.
But it's in a reel that's, like, really rolling through, like, a bunch of those that she
Mhm.
had as, like, a montage of them, and so it's like, "Well, you missed one section there, sweet." So then I was, like, in those reels, like, I'm going to all the people she's added and, like, trying to
Mhm.
see who's who.
Yeah,
And I'm
she
watching her going, "Dude, I would have fucking hung out with her." She seemed cool when she was, like, before Charlie. Like, she had, like, a girls' weekend away, like, maybe in the Hamptons or something like that, and she's,
Mhm.
like, riding a mini bike, and I'm like, "She looks fun. Who is
Yes.
she now? What happened to you?"
She did look fun, and, like, that's the thing is, like, you watch her old videos, and until she's at the Charlie point in her life, she seems genuine, like,
Yeah.
whatever, but it's like, it's
Now we know they're lies, but
yes,
she still
yes,
seemed more
some
genuine.
she seemed more genuine, more
But
in
there was less
character.
pressure on whether or not you're getting caught in these lies, and now there's a ton. So now she's probably, like, robotic and weird.
Yeah, and you would be too if you were on I mean, I'd be eating myself alive, I wouldn't be able to go in public. Okay, so another one, Barron's brought this up, we've all probably thought it, you've thought it, I've thought it, we've all thought it. How did she fund Manhattan? How did she live in Manhattan? She sold maybe one thing at the
Yeah,
Corcoran
the
Group.
real estate stuff, what's that about?
Yeah, she had one sale. And what else did you do, lady? Like no one can fill in that missing gap, so it's a red flag. And you know, if your parents funded you, just say that, boo-boo. That's all right. Just, you know,
Yeah.
it's but it's like her life is such a mystery.
Like, you can still pose that in a way that doesn't make you sound like a dick. You can still
No.
say, "Listen, like, I know not everybody was blessed in the way that I was, but I was, and, you know, I tried to do what I could with it," and, you know, you don't have to make you don't it's like that person who feels like they have to lie about everything, you know, to save face when you're doing the exact opposite. I just don't like a perfect example is like a manager. This is like the biggest pet peeve of mine. A
Mhm.
manager who refuses to admit they don't know the answer to a question, so they just give you one anyway. And then you find out that the answer was wrong. And it's like, I'm never coming to you for another question again
Right.
because you can't even say you don't know the answer.
It's crazy. Okay, so I skipped just a couple because they were like some stuff Candace just said. But I just want to show you guys or tell you guys the total claims in this timeline I've calculated. And I don't think I have everything. Direct behavioral contradictions. There was approximately 4 to 6 of those. Social media inconsistencies, at least 6 to 8 were listed. From these stuff we've all listened to. Financial anomalies were, in the 6 to 8s. The Military Geopolitical Association, 6 to 8. Family Power Network, 8 to 10 claims. And then we have conspiracy escalation, 4 to 6. So it just goes to show, and this was a combination. How I came up with this timeline is I went through a couple videos of creators that have done a really good job at actually condensing all this stuff. And I plugged their transcripts into ChatGPT and I asked it, just tell me all the allegations that are in these videos. I plugged in a couple Candace's, and that's 45-ish implications we're talking about just from what I plugged in from ChatGPT from several videos.
Well, and we're talking about, like, I know we see her a lot.
Yeah.
Because we do. But think about the actual amount. If we were to cumulatively put it all together, how many hours in reality could it possibly be? Maybe a day's worth that we're basing all this on. That's 1 24-hour, maybe 2 will be gracious. We'll say 72 hours worth of content we're basing this off of out of the last 6+ months.
Yeah, I mean,
imagine the ones we don't know about. Imagine the other stuff. I say this to my son. I said this to my son's 13, and I said to him, I know you probably better than any person alive, right? That's safe to say. But the reality is, I only know you based on our interactions, but you're in your head, you have your own inner monologue. You're going about your day. You have your thoughts about life and your mom and your friends. And I know none of that.
Right.
So when you think of it from that perspective, there's very little I actually know about any person, because we know everything about ourselves, and we're here doing stuff all day, having all kinds of thoughts and feelings and emotions, and people are not even aware of those.
Right.
And so imagine the things that you don't know about a person. There's a lot. Anyone, that's why people are married to serial killers and don't know it, because you don't know what you don't know. And we don't know a lot because there's definitely weirdos and freaks out there. If you're one of them, sorry, who doesn't have an inner monologue, that shit's bizarro. But I'm constantly going in here all day. So to imagine if I were to give that information to my husband all the time, if there was no inner monologue, it was all outer, and I talk a lot. That's a lot of stuff he don't know about me. So you know what I mean? But there's just so much about every person that even the people closest to these people don't know. And we're talking about all these crazy, weird things about this person, and we know just snippets. So imagine the rest.
So this is just like a compilation. I tried to get us a good head start. We got almost 2 hours worth of content out of that. We're with us all back and forth and having a great conversation. Also, thank you guys in the chat. Super fun chat tonight. I thought it was super fun. Want to know, do you guys want to keep going? Because now I have a bunch of videos on.
Yeah, we have all kinds of stuff. And maybe your video will work now that you went out and came back in.
It does work.
I wonder if you can share audio.
I think
the audio was the issue.
Yeah, the audio was the issue. Well, and then the share screen just stopped. Something was going on with my StreamYard,
I have
guys.
a cat hair in my eye. It always happens because I have long-haired orange kitties.
And
it's like their hairs get in the mascara.
And it's driving me crazy. Okay, I'm going to start pulling up this one. So we're going to shift into more of a current events thing. I'm trying to get it to actually work. Okay. This is just a funny
start.
If this
is grossing people out.
You're fine.
I'm touching my eyeball.
We'll start this while you touch your eyeball. Okay. This is saying millennials right now going through all this stuff. So just this sad face. And I agree to this because it says millennials living through 2 economic recessions, 9/11, a global pandemic, 8 stock market crashes, jobs replaced by AI, and World War III before hitting 43. So
I was trying to go. I never can remember if I'm a millennial because I'm so close.
I think you are.
I think so.
Anyway,
I look it up all the time.
I feel like this applies to the world though, because even if you're older, then you've lived through more. And if you're younger, it's a very hard time to be. So just to put that out there, like this is
I
kind
always
of
think about that, how like at least my generation is one of the last ones that have ever like would remember growing up without the internet, you know? I remember when actually the first internet we had at my house was one called Web TV, where we had like a internet connection on the TV with like a little wireless keyboard. It sucked. It took 27 minutes to pull up Google. But, you know, like it's just it's so funny to imagine that like my kids don't even know what that is like. Like I played kick the can, dude, in middle school.
We did
And
kickball.
we
I'm
used to
like,
like sneak into people's pools in the middle of the night, you know, and like
We did
dare each other to
too.
do crazy stuff.
We did too. Kids never would do that. And I actually don't blame them. There's some stuff you're kind of like,
Well,
well,
now
that's
nowadays you can anyway. If kids do the things we did as kids, like they would be fucking shot or something.
Yes, it's
Like,
true. Okay, I want to read this one. Anybody catch the reel of her loading her purse with vials? Supposedly it's hers, 14 of them for wellness. No, but you can send that to my email.
Erica?
Yeah, send that to me, discourseamerican@gmail. We'll cover it on another one because I want to see that if you have it.
Yeah.
Please send that to me. And I'll fill Rogan on it where, you know, we chat offline. Okay. Yeah. So
hair's gonna drive me crazy.
I thought we could just talk about the Iran war now because we know it started, all of that good stuff. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't think many people were looking for this. But I'm going to share my screen and just show what President Trump used to feel versus where we are now. So give me 2 seconds.
It's so infuriating. I woke up so pissed off.
Me too.
I was so mad. I mean, not surprised, but pissed off.
Thank you for saying that, Peggy Hall found that. Okay, cool. So Donald Trump said, November 13th of 2010, remember that I predicted a long time ago that President Obama will attack Iran because of his inability to negotiate properly, not skilled. Okay, buddy.
Guess you underestimated
yourself.
Our greatest ally.
Yeah, no, he underestimated himself because he obviously is not properly skilled.
I made a comment on that I told you earlier, but the shipwreck chick, I love her, but she had made a reel where she was showing clips of Bibi Netanyahu making a statement, and she's like, who are you talking to? Are you talking to us, like us Americans? And I'm like, at this point I feel like he's addressing the world. Like I feel like this, and someone was like, no, he's addressing us. I was like, no, he's addressing the world. This is a veiled threat to anyone currently involved and anyone who will be involved in the near future, because they've already dabbled in Australia. They're going to be dabbling in more, and they're sending messages. So yes, some of it might be directed towards us, but it is a message as a whole. I feel like, oh, when I see him making a statement, I'm like, oh, the world president is speaking. Let's hear him out.
That's just what thinks he has like the biggest, brassiest balls, and like in some way he does, because his country is supported by the biggest bankers in the whole world. They have the most control over our economies. You know, we all lost a lot of our freedoms back in the early 1900s.
They have the ability to have nukes without permission.
Yeah,
I mean, they've just done whatever they want.
It's basically it's terrorist, you know, actions, because they don't get any support from people. They just do it. But anyway, Donald Trump here says, now that Obama's poll numbers are in tailspin, watch for him to launch a strike in Libya or Iran. He is desperate. Well, we know that both of those have now already happened. And I just feel like Donald Trump is like, this seemed genuine to me. I didn't even really like Donald Trump during this time, but I felt like over time he had proven that he at least kind of cared. But now it feels like maybe it was a psyop.
Yeah, I without a doubt feel duped, and it pisses me off.
I do too.
It makes me very bitter, and I'm angry about it.
Yeah, because I was originally a little bit.
I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you know, defend him or try to like make. I was fucking tricked. I feel like I was tricked, and I'm pissed about it.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I was a little more left-leaning in my early 20s, and then I shifted more in right-leaning, and now I'm just decided I'm independent, so you better match my morals or else, or I'm not voting.
I say it all the time. I hope that when people come to my channel, they can't figure it out. You know, like they watch
Yeah.
one thing and they think, is she like Democrat? And then they watch another and they think, is she? No, maybe she's. I want you to feel that way, because the reality is I'm neither. And I'm going to take every situation that is presented as that individual situation and base it on facts. And it has nothing to do with anything else. It has nothing to do with the box that I'm in. It has to do with the situation at hand and the information surrounding it. And that's it. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people feel mad at Trump. He said this, and to get all of our support, be prepared. There's a small chance that our horrendous leadership could unknowingly lead us into World War III. So he's saying here he thinks getting into Iran would lead us into World War III. So mind you, he had that thought before he got us into this war with Iran. So you should be mad, because you absolutely know that's how he felt. Tucker campaigned on this for him, saying no new wars. It would get us into good for you, AMP, registered nonpartisan. Love that. I haven't changed my stuff since like a long time ago, so no one would actually know
But
what I
then
am.
also part of that issue is some states, depending on, or some states or your voting ward, like if you're not declared Republican or Democrat, you can't always vote in everything. And it's like, what the
Okay, so here's another one. President must get congressional approval before attacking Syria. Big mistake if he does not. Donald Trump did not get congressional approval.
No.
And
he's not even going to call it a war. He's going to try to call it an operation so he can try to get away with it.
Yeah,
But
and Matthew's
then
going to
he
bring
made
this
a
up.
statement already talking about it, just like however many hours ago, saying like how, you know, we're probably going to lose a lot of good people, like our soldiers, like. So we're just throwing in the towel saying, I guess we're just full on war. Like what's
I feel like they have totally just not listened to the American people. And I think we all, that, you know, because now we're talking about Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk. Well, we know where Charlie Kirk stood on this. And I want to play. Charlie Kirk had an enormous influence on Trump. He called them, was mad about the war. We already talked about that. But JD Vance says something that I think is super important. He did this before, you know, back when Charlie Kirk was alive. So I'm going to play this video and just let me know what you guys think of it. Bear with me.
He was mad. It was one, you know, I wouldn't say the last conversation that I had with him, but it was in the last few months of his life. And he called me and he said, JD, I'm really worried. I'm really worried that what's going on in the Middle East right now is going to lead the United States into a protracted military conflict. I've never told anybody that. And Charlie was really worried about that in the final months of his life. Now, here's the thing. Charlie was so effective and he was so trusted by both me and the President of the United States that when Charlie made that phone call, I didn't say, screw you, you don't know what you're talking about. I listened to him. And I really believe that one of the reasons why the President of the United States knocked out the Iranian nuclear facilities, but never got the United States into a protracted military conflict and never lost a single American in a Middle Eastern conflict is because we had the wisdom and the good sense to recognize that the American people are done with American troops dying in unnecessary foreign conflicts. But Charlie Kirk reminded me of that. Charlie Kirk.
Okay, so JD Vance is basically saying Charlie Kirk had to remind our government that we do not want this conflict with Iran. And yet, now that he's gone, look what we're up to, right? And a lot of people are like, this is why he was taken out, because he was so effective. JD Vance said it himself.
I know. And there's people out there who want to be like, well, who is he? He's just a podcaster, like whatever. Like, no, this man had a huge influence. And the reality is he had lots of people watching him and listening to him and taking what he said very seriously every day. That's a huge influence on the sway of the nation.
Yeah, totally agree. Sorry, I was trying to pull up the other one. I forgot I wasn't muted. Okay, so on that note, I feel like we should look at the video that Charlie Kirk's show put out today about what Charlie would feel about how we did it now, and see if they are leaning towards the Charlie that we know versus the Charlie they say and what he would do. So let's dig in. Let's join our beautiful Blake Neff, Andrew Colvett, amazing Mikey McCoy's here for this one. So super stoked. I'm going to actually give me 2 seconds. I'm going to try and turn this up just a tad. My Twitter one's kind of, that one was low, that last video. Okay. Playing.
Always did have trust with the president, and he would look for the bright side of things. And he was an American patriot, so he would pray for our success once that began. And I just want to say that to offer perspective on how I think he would have felt about this. And that's not to use Charlie as a shield. That is not to say everything just revolves around him, because he's not with us anymore. But I know all of us are feeling the lack of Charlie in a moment like this, because he was a natural leader of the movement.
Well, I think that's also, like, as soon as all of this broke out, you saw that social media immediately went to go find Charlie clips, because he still is, even in death, like the leading voice on a matter like this.
Well, and sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and it makes me upset though, because for these people that didn't actually know Charlie, like Blake, you said it, in private, he would be not happy with the situation, and he would express his thoughts. You would oftentimes see him talk about it on the show, but then as soon as this would happen, he would have trust in the president. He would try to calm people down, and so it's really irritating for me to see so many people on social media have the opposite reaction, to use his voice to actually cause chaos, to actually cause fear of the situation, to actually cause hatred of President Trump in this whole ordeal, when actually that's not what he would want.
Well, and
it's so fucking annoying.
Well, they're just lying to our faces, right?
Yeah.
Because Charlie said how he felt on recording. He said multiple times, Iran regime change war would be horrible for our country. That's not that complicated.
Well, reality is, they're saying if he was here, he would do this. Really? What was the other situation like this that you can say he had that feeling on? When was the other time this happened that you can compare it to and say you know how he would react? When was the last time we went to a war none of us really, really wanted so badly we knew we shouldn't go into it, and he made a comment like we should trust the president? Did that happen? And you know for sure that's what he was said? Because as far as I know, this is one of the biggest situations we've had in a very long time. So
I think we know what he would do. Go to the president's office and tell him we don't want this. I think he would make a call, which he's done. I think he would do everything.
I got indigestion.
That's so funny. Also, yes, Charlie Kirk show without Charlie, they can say he would say anything. They've been doing that.
Yeah.
When we pull the receipts and you're like, but Charlie
for a
actually
dead man.
did this.
So
yes,
get a life.
And to some extent you have to, right? But you use it based on his actual words, not
I feel like at some point, where do we see these guys like crumble out of just the pure recognition that their lives are based on living vicariously through someone who is no longer alive, and like no one's watching you for any other reason than you talking as if you were him? At some point, is it going to degrade your sense of self and you feel, terrible? Are we going to watch you turn disheveled and be like, I'm nobody because I'm pretending to be Charlie Kirk? Like, that's what I feel like.
Exactly. Okay, let's see what Candace had to say about it. We're going to bring her to our stage. We will never forget that they murdered Charlie Kirk for this war, and he knew they were going to do it. He spent his final days mentally anguished, texting the very people who would ultimately betray him. In honor of Charlie, I stand against Israel. Let's watch the video.
Yeah, you're going to have to earn our trust on this one. This is more Israel pushing for Iran, but is that America's problem? That's maybe the answer is yes. Maybe the answer is, you know what? They were wrong about Iraq. They were wrong about Syria. They were wrong about Afghanistan. They were wrong about the Taliban. They were wrong about Libya. They were wrong about the Arab Spring. They were wrong about Yemen. They were wrong about the Arabian Peninsula. They were wrong about the 9/11 hijackers being Saudi Arabian. But hey, 10th time's a charm. This time we're actually right. Yeah, you're going to have to earn our trust on this one.
Yeah, he would just say, we trust the president. You just trust the president. Except he literally just said no.
And this is where I think I got a little annoyed when I was watching some of his old clips where people were like, what a shill at Israel. He genuinely just said, I hope everyone has a new perspective now on the propaganda against him. He literally said, we're gonna need to get some trust on this one. They were wrong about this. They were wrong about this. They were wrong about it. And it's like, who was they, guys? Who's the proverbial they? We all know the they he's referring to. You can't spin that one way or another, but they were successful in it. They made people really think Charlie did
Because
not
I've said
feel
this
this
before,
way.
the biggest the biggest thing they're using against the American people is the fact that we're drowning from this economy. We are barely getting by, and everyone needs to work their asses off 40 plus hours a week. My husband probably works close to 60 hours a week. He drives an hour and a half each way to work. Everyone is living that life, and they have fractions of time to pay attention to any of this. We are an anomaly at this point, you and I, being able to have all of this time to dedicate and to absorb the information. But there are people who don't even know who Erika Kirk is, or
Right. They're
Candace
busy.
Owens, or, there's almost everyone that I work with wouldn't know who I'm talking about. But, that they know that people can't keep up with it. They know that they can't watch all the stuff. And so everything we see is just for show for the people who don't have the time. And so the goal is that hopefully with these live streams and these videos that we make and all the time we put into it, that we will reach these people who don't have time and hopefully get them to recognize, in the little bits of
propaganda
time
war.
that we hopefully gain from them. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I'm pulling up a couple people on how they feel. So, once again, we're an independent show, so we're going to show Anna Kasparian and what she said.
I love her.
Me too.
Her.
I do. She is sick. I
She's
love how she
feisty
says
too.
shit.
I love
it.
how feisty she is.
Thank you, SJ, by the way, or SI maybe. I'm sorry, I can't read very good anymore. These eyes are a little. I need some bifocals. Let's be honest. Okay, Anna Kasparian said Israel is a terror state. This is her words, guys. That revels in slaughtering children and stealing land. What more is there to say? Our alliance with Israeli genociders is a stain on the U.S., and nothing brings me more shame than to live under a government that supports modern day Nazis. I loved how she said that. It was pretty succinct to how I know a ton of people are feeling. It is a stain on us. I even think that the Iraq-Afghanistan stuff really is. We really destabilized that area.
For sure. That was a huge mistake.
And so I think that is one of those things where it's like, guys, we're not the good guys. And guess what? I hate to say it, but like Putin has some W takes. Like that's someone who cares about his people to an extent where it feels like we're just getting mucked on and bucked on. And we're like,
you're just made a joke. They treat us like a joke.
Yes.
We are a joke. They think nothing of us. We're just a show they're putting on. They're just putting a show on for us, and they know it. They know we have no real control. I agree with a lot of the people out there right now saying that the one stand we could take is like, our taxes. And, I get that that's intimidating because what are you going to do? But if everyone went into their employer and changed their tax withholding, like, I think some people think of it as like at tax time, you're going to say, I'm not filing, and then they're going to come after you. But like if everyone went in there and started turning off their tax withholding within their employer, and that just started stopping in mass, maybe we would have a chance, because that's our one possible chance.
No taxation.
They pay everything with our money. So if we turn that off, maybe we have a little control. But there's no way to know we're all going to do it. So no one's going to do it because.
Well, it'd be great if we'd have, someone who's a little bit bigger who could spearhead some type of movement. I think Tucker tries to imply those things in his videos, like this should be enough for blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
he's older. He's not going to actually do those things, but like
it's the fear of the retaliation, it's the fear of getting in trouble, and, they're not going to be able to put us all in jail, but when you're living in your own little world and you feel like you're not sure you're the only, you're not sure anybody else is doing it with you. It's a little bit hard to make that jump.
Yes, 100%. So he said, basically he spoke out against President Trump, calling it absolutely disgusting and evil. Tucker says it will destroy the MAGA movement. This is going to shuffle the deck in a profound way. I guess he said that on ABC to John Carl. I did not see this myself, but that's how Tucker talks. So I'm going to take him for face value. He doesn't really put tweets out as statements. he says disgusting and evil, so I imagine that's how he feels. And I think it's important that he doesn't have blind loyalty to Trump, because we know that no one wanted this. Okay, I'm going to do Nick Fuentes too, because I thought, you know what? Let's see what he's got. He said, this war has nothing to do with nuclear weapons, terrorism, or dead protesters. For decades, Israel has openly pursued an agenda to topple Iraq, Syria, and Iran. They orchestrated all of these wars in order to eliminate their rivals and gain total hegemony over the Middle East. I tend to believe this take. I tend to believe it's the Greater Israel Project that people hate to say, but I tend to believe this is the truth.
Did you see that map? The one showing like people that would, like the Gaza and like Israel there, and then, and then the larger one, and then eventually just the world.
Yeah. And the thing is, they already kind of have the world with the way that everyone's on the puppet strings.
Yeah, I mean,
Israel.
when you think about the fact that we're supposed to be one of the leaders of the world as a country, and we are clearly, I can't tell where Trump ends and Bibi begins. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple things to just kind of show the updates. I thought this one was a super crazy take, but basically someone said this Bahrain tower is on fire after a sustained drone attack. But I like how it said, notice how the towers never instantly collapse ever unless they are the twin towers in WT7.
Well, yeah, they have to be a controlled demolition.
Exactly.
For that to happen, so, yeah.
So that conspiracy theory proven true just by this
what's
video.
funny is after 9/11, I had just told you today that I was in New York City on 9/11, and after it, I remember seeing some people having like, I was young, I was 16, so some people were having, doubts about the reality of it, and I remember thinking like, that's crazy.
Right.
Why, how young and naive I was.
Yeah, back then I was little. I remember I was at like elementary school.
I was there because the night before we went to a Michael Jackson 5 30th anniversary tour concert.
Wow.
That's why I was there. I know.
And then
it
so
was
this
overshadowed by, buildings collapsing and
awful. This one's in Israel, so I think people thought Israel would be just fine. They're not. Apparently there was a target of the Sorek desalination plant, and the main pillar of Israel's water, in the largest desalination plant in the world. So I'm going to play it on mute because it's loud, and we can just look at the water.
Whoa.
Yeah, stuff underwater. So Israel's not faring super well. They probably weren't expecting this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Bibi Netanyahu and his little escape plan.
Well, they bombed an elementary school, right?
Yeah, that was their first act, was the elementary school.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. It's
the anger I have is unparalleled.
It's
and I'm
crazy.
like, wait, they bombed Dubai? What's going on?
Oh,
they bombed Dubai. There's something in Dubai was bombed too.
Yes, from Iran, because what happened was they basically bombed all of our allies, which was genius on their part. I hate it for, I hate war, so I just hate all of it, but it's smart because you are taking out the infrastructure that enables the US to come after Iran. It just does it. So they're throwing bombs at everybody. They took out a couple of military spots. It said there's about 200 people that could have lost their life on one of the air bases. I got to verify that though, so I didn't.
I have to watch Valhalla because he was on right before we came on, and I was watching it, and he was about to go into like, he said everybody's talking about what's currently happening, but nobody's talking about what it means when we're done. And I really wanted to hear what he had to say about that because I do appreciate his perspective on things of this nature.
He's the expert. Okay, so just to lighten the mood, guys, Netanyahu tried to land in Cyprus, but they denied him over fear of Iranian attacks. Now he's just circling the sky with nowhere safe to go. So he was unable to land for, I think it was kind of a few hours until he was.
You mean he doesn't have any friends?
No, he doesn't have any friends. No one wanted him. They had also, Tucker Carlson had ticked off enough people with that Mike Huckabee interview in the Middle East where he said they can just take all of it. Yeah, when he said they can just take all of it.
You could tell he was just so fed up at that point. He just said what he wanted to say. And I was like, you're gross.
Well, he lost Bibi Netanyahu any safe place from saying that. Literally, I got that from military intelligence. Like literally, the fact that Tucker got that out of there, and I'm going to say this publicly, Tucker has done more for our country in the past year to expose what the heck is going on across the world than our president. Like he has said stuff. I literally joked on Twitter, like it's the State of the Union, guys, when Tucker came on and was talking about the war, because he knows this stuff intimately. Oh, let me see this. While you focus on your cyber war, cyber was handed to Oracle, the Dre dossier channel exposed a few hours ago. I'll have to check that out. Thanks, Paul. Like, I love a tip like this. I like deep dives. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that with me. But anyway, there's always something, right? What's the war, the distraction for? And then why do they want Iran? I'll tell you why. They're not under the banking cabal. They want them to be under the control of the richest family in the world. They told them, we don't want your money. Whether, the Ayatollah they have issues. That's true. That they're not a perfect regime.
Yeah.
But the reason they want this war is the Greater Israel Project and get them under the banking system that we're all enslaved by.
Yep.
So, it's just one of those things. Okay. And then Iran closes waterways. So we'll take a peek at that one. I'm just going to read it. So the total closure of the Strait of Hormuz had caught Trump completely off guard. There's no warning and no escalation ladder. Iran has changed the rules of the game. While Bahrain's alarm sirens scream in the background. So they just shut down a huge, port that a lot of oil comes in and out of, just a bunch of things.
Yep.
And I guess people didn't think they'd take it that far so quickly. I think they thought there'd be escalation techniques and things like that. It's like, no,
they thought we could use our big words and make them feel like little people. And
yes,
it's so annoying. You think you're like, I feel like we're watching people who think that they have like, I don't even know how to, it's not power because they obviously do, but in a way they don't, but they think that their manipulative powers are so much better than they actually are. They're not willing to accept the fact that the world is looking at you like a joke. Okay. We're not looking at you and we're not going, oh, they're so intimidating. We're going, wow, it's fucking pathetic. It's so pathetic and it's embarrassing. And that's what you look like now. That's what you've done to our country. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that is a perfect line to go into one of my last videos I've got. It's basically Trump partying.
I love your profile picture, by the way, of Gus. I don't know if it's actually Gus from Psych. I know it is him as a person. I don't know what the image is from, but I love it.
So the sick elites of the world are partying. Oh, did I not share my screen?
No,
no,
sorry. But I know what you're going to talk about, and I'm so excited because I'm
so sorry, guys. I literally thought I was sharing my screen. Okay, barren moment again. You guys are just going to have to bear with me here.
Put your hands up.
So gross.
I'm gonna push you. You're gonna push me down.
Oh, he's so cringy.
That's
Can't
just
hear you.
disgusting.
Okay, I thought you were talking.
Yeah, I was trying,
Yeah.
and then I was like, no.
Well, when I was watching Valhalla, someone had asked when he was giving his address why he didn't have a tie on, and he goes, "Well, I'll tell you why he doesn't have a tie on, because he was having a party."
It's so gross. You're partying before
we're gonna bomb a country, and like, well, let's have a party first to celebrate this big victory.
It's sick. It's sick because no one wants it but them. No one wants it but them. They make money off of it.
If you're having a party knowing this is happening, then are you really taking it very seriously? You obviously are not. You obviously are not, recognizing the gravity of what this is. If you're throwing a party and dancing like a fucking tool, put your
feel
hands
like
away. You're a little bitch. That's what I feel like. I'm sorry. I know it's so awful to say because I understand, but it's like all I keep saying is, God, you are such a fucking little bitch.
Yeah, I feel like I was surprised BB wasn't there. And then I also liked AMP. I'm going to hop that in there. Yes, the elementary attack saying it was Iranian misfire. It's like, no, it wasn't. Like,
guess what? None of this would have happened if you didn't fucking do it to begin with. So
no one believes
still
them.
on you.
That's bullshit. No one believes you. I
Guess
don't
what?
believe it.
Iran wouldn't have hit them anyone if you didn't decide to take action. So
exactly. I thought we'd
whose
end on
fault is it?
this little this list of all the things Iran hasn't done.
I
So
love this.
this is just our closing thoughts here, and then we can end, of course. But I think this is a nice summary. The last time I checked, and this was from Murray, so just want to give him the props. Iran hasn't stolen any of my freedoms. Iran didn't run up $38 trillion in national debt and destroy our standard of living. Iran didn't pass the Patriot Act to spy on Americans. Iran didn't pass the income tax. Iran didn't establish the IRS. Iran didn't hand over full control of U.S. monetary policy to a private banking cartel with the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. That's our biggest problem. Iran didn't force the NIH to fund gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China. Iran didn't lock down American cities, businesses, and schools. Iran didn't pass experimental and deadly mRNA vaccine mandates. Iran didn't print $7 trillion during the COVID pandemic and destroy the American economy. Iran didn't host drag queen story hour in our elementary schools and libraries. Iran isn't promoting destructive life-altering transgender surgeries and medications to children. Iran isn't flooding American airwaves with pharmaceutical products. Iran isn't trying to block out the sun or spraying harmful chemicals all over our skies. Iran didn't accuse a Supreme Court justice nominee of being a gang rapist. Iran didn't spend $8 trillion invading Iraq and Afghanistan only to hand the latter back to the Taliban after the government collapsed in 3 days following 20 years of occupation. Iran didn't steal the 2020 election. Iran didn't open America's borders and flood the country with 40 million illegal immigrants. Iran didn't start a race war by spreading hate crime hoaxes all over our cable news and social media networks. Iran isn't hiding the Epstein documents and failing to prosecute corrupt billionaires, politicians, and royal family members. Iran isn't forcing Americans to pass hate speech laws and tear down the First Amendment. Iran has never attacked us on U.S. soil. Iran didn't authorize Operation Fast and Furious to allow weapons to be illegally purchased and taken back to Mexico only to be used to kill U.S. Border Patrol agents. Iran didn't overthrow Gaddafi and destroy the country of Libya, where they now have modern-day slave markets. Iran didn't hide the contents of Anthony Weiner's laptop with over 340,000 emails from Hillary Clinton, including a file labeled Crimes Against Children. Iran didn't use America's intelligence agencies, visa court, media organizations, or political class to frame Trump for treason. Iran didn't draw up plans to assassinate Julian Assange for exposing U.S. war crimes in the Middle East. Iran didn't exile Edward Snowden for revealing the widespread illegal surveillance being conducted on American citizens. Iran didn't assassinate JFK, RFK, or Charlie Kirk. The U.S. government dealt with all of those things on behalf of subversive and domestic foreign influence. And then it's a Ron Paul quote. I'm convinced that there are more threats to American liberty within the 10-mile radius of my office on Capitol Hill than there are on the rest of the globe.
Great quote.
I thought, you know what? That was it. I think that kind of sums up whether you agree with the whole analysis or not. You don't have to. But many things on that list we can all say are from our government, which operates as a mafia mob.
For sure.
Yeah. So I feel like that was pretty comprehensive of what's going on in Iran. I think it was pretty comprehensive of Erika Kirk's lying. I think it was pretty comprehensive of the State of the Union, y'all. You got anything else to add, Rogue?
No, I don't. Just that I'm disappointed. And yeah, I don't know. I want to thank everybody who's been here tonight. Make sure you're subscribed to both of us. If you like it, let us know if you've enjoyed this. We've been, like I said, we were debating doing this maybe on a weekly basis. So, and if this is a good time, I don't know if it works for us every week, but like for me, I'm usually a night owl. Usually nighttime is better for me, but we can be flexible. And even if we do it at a time that doesn't work, it'll always be on our feeds that you can watch again later on. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I like the Saturday too for something like this because it's kind of like a wrap up of the week. We're not competing with the bigger people. We can just chit chat. Dissident discourse. I love that, Ramen. You're like, that's cute. We could make that one of our series. Like,
that is cute. We could have like a joint channel.
Yes. Well, my buddy had said he thinks we should do a joint channel, but for now we could start a series.
Yeah, I need to get monetized on my own first.
Yes. Oh, it's 5 a.m. in England. Well, thanks for
my
being
brother-in-law is
here,
from what part of England? My brother-in-law is from England. He's from Newcastle. I was there visiting it at one point. I don't know. You know how like I just get vibes there. Like it's like I feel like, oh, this was for sure my home at some point in a past
Yes.
life.
Gateshead.
Gateshead. Cool.
Well, awesome. That's so cool. I think this is our first English person
That's really
on my
cool. I
channel.
know. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have.
I had
anybody
someone
else.
from Africa. They were awesome.
I've definitely had a few sprinklings of other places, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Do
Awesome.
you
That's
guys
super
remember
cool.
when Barron said we're big in the Balkans? For some reason,
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite things ever. I think
So
that's so
funny.
funny. Waves from North Carolina. I'm also in a similar region to you, where I'm in the South. So
I know I'm in New England. I'm way up north.
well, thank you, Moonchild. I'm so glad it was good info. It takes a little time to gather, but quite honestly, it's fun. We do this all day. I read this all
We were
day.
chatting earlier, and we should just do this like this. Like, there's such an expectation that you have to have everything like perfectly planned out, and I am not a scripty person. So for me, I have to just be able to go like free flow, whatever I'm thinking. I'm good with like bullet points, but I like it when there's someone else to interact with. That's why I love the lives, because you can interact with people in the comments. It's the other side of the river from Newcastle. Cool. Yeah, Geordies. You guys, that accent's wild.
We need you to record something, send it to us.
There's actually YouTube videos of how to speak with a Geordie accent. They just make up words.
Really?
It's not real words. They just like, it'll be like, hey, hey, how's it going? And it's just like a made up gibberish word. It doesn't make sense.
I liked Ramen's comment too. I think most people are both mainstream media now. So it's funny you say that. I went on a rant about this the other day. I think it was to you, Rogue. Maybe it's my dad, but I was telling them how sometimes I get people on my channel that have complaints about how I talk. Like they want me to talk more mainstream. And I'm like, it's my channel. I'm taking all this time to find these research, and you want me to sound like everybody else.
I wonder if she just like froze again. Her internet has been weird. I don't know what. At least she's smiling in this one. Yep, there it is. The zoom in on my beautiful mug. I don't know what happened. I'm assuming that'll probably be the end of it, because I know we were wrapping up, but I really appreciate all of you. I hope you go. Oh, is she back?
Sorry.
Okay.
Something's
It's really
happened
funny.
again.
It's really funny because when that happens, it zooms in super close on my face, and I'm like, "Hey guys."
I'm
It's like,
sorry. Something's going on, and my internet looks fine, but it's like the StreamYard for some
I
reason.
like
for
that
me.
last comment. Yeah, if
Yes.
it's too polished, it feels fake, and that's why for me, I refuse to be scripted, because I know that A, I'll be my real self if I'm not scripted, and B, that most people. I said this to you earlier when we were chatting, that for me, we could all talk about the same topic, but the reality is someone's going to connect with my presentation and my personality versus someone else. Like they might really dislike like Candace's very kind of like A type personality, and they mesh with mine. And it's okay that, because sometimes you feel like you need to do something totally different, but the reality is people want the information, but they might not want to watch it from someone we all expect them to want to watch it from, because they just don't connect. So
I agree. I actually do put like notes together because I don't want to just go crazy. If you guys have watched my research videos, you'll see me. I'll look to the side, but that's because I'm researching and I want to have the right facts for everybody. But when it's more like this, I like to just pull up an X post and chit chat and play a video. That's way more fun for me. So
thank you
that's
for
what we
sharing
do.
the name of it. It was on the screen here before, but something kind of maybe glitched out and it doesn't show my name on here anymore, like when we came back in.
Mine
Thank
doesn't
you.
either.
Yeah, I just realized that. I was like, oh, it's right there. Oh, it's not right there
I'm
anymore.
telling you, StreamYard's doing something really weird. So thank you guys for staying with
And
us.
when we do like a video where we actually pre-record, we can like tag each other in that and it'll show up in the actual video. But right now on the live, we can't do that yet. So it's like separated.
And I agree with this. It's utterly unwatchable once you've watched
It is
independent
so
creators.
unwatchable.
I just agree with that. It can be so hard whenever
It's literally, I feel third-hand embarrassment for the people who are acting on the news channels.
Yeah, I agree. It's got the hiccups, I reckon. That's actually really funny.
It definitely has the hiccups. It's got some GERD going on or something.
Sound bad, especially on my end. But you know what? In the South, we have weird internet problems.
Well, and maybe the sun has been throwing off a lot of plasma. I haven't actually been following that very closely lately, and that could certainly have. We were having issues with some stuff the other day. Nothing was working. So
By the way,
I blame the sun.
Did you see Rogue has the whitest teeth? That was cute.
It's so funny. So here's a story behind that. My son will always bring this up, and I don't know why there's a difference, but I assume this could be why. When I was younger, my father had primary custody of my sister and I, and he was going through dental school. And we were like his guinea pigs. So like at home, he would do dental cleanings on us as practice. And so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, whether like all of the little things like we had, like fluoride treatments, I'm probably going to die young, but all these little things. So I don't know if that's why. I think I'm just a lucky gal when it comes.
They are
to my
really
teeth.
white.
Yeah. They used to be whiter. I feel like they're not as white. Like they look whiter right here. But then like when I see them, I'm like, they're not as white as they used to be. And I never had braces.
Really
I was
white.
lucky there too. When I was growing up, actually, I had a big gap here, a decent gap. It was a decent sized gap. And they pulled a tooth. So I'm actually missing one of my teeth in the top because they pulled it, which prompted the other one to come in and push the gap together. So I never needed braces. Cool, right?
So
Science, man.
I had braces. And it was for my bottom teeth, and I had one tooth that was like sideways. After I had my son, my tooth moved. One of them that never was out. Like I have one bigger tooth now.
Mine
so
moved as an adult.
Yeah, mine moved right here. And so I look like I have more of like in person, it's not that big of a deal. You can't tell, but in camera, you can tell I have like a little bit of a thing.
I like the teeth.
Yeah, that was cute. Yeah. Yeah, she does have really white teeth. All right.
My older sister's the same way though. She's the same way.
She has good teeth.
So I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's the dental hygiene school that we were guinea pigs for. Maybe.
It'd be nice to get like monthly cleanings instead of going every 6 months.
I'll be on. I went to the dentist. At this point, I don't remember the last time, but before that, it had been 13 years.
Oh my.
So
that's crazy.
And they're like, usually the people we see after 6 months have worse teeth than what we see right now on you. And I'm like, well, hey, I'm blessed, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was saying you can really see it when the cam zooms in. Oh, that's cute. Oh, thank you. I got it. Like I said, I got
Oh, when it's just my face.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're really intimate now.
Welcome in, baby. Yeah.
So funny.
Yay. Well, you guys make sure you follow us, American Discourse News. You can just call me. It's funny because I was talking to Baze and he's like Discourse. And I kind of like that. Like I should have just made my name Discourse. So feel free to just say that in the chat. And then, follow Rogue. We'll have at the end. So what happens when you post a live, it processes. And after the process is complete, we'll tag each other as co-collaborators.
And it'll take a little while because it is a long one.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while. But anyway, have a good night, y'all. Thank you for being here. I liked the late night chat. So I think we're going to do it again. Me too.
Agreed. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right,
I appreciate all of you. Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.